Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Crossover. Starring Josh Johnson and Chris McGill. Featuring Christina Thorson. And of course, you, the Instagram live chat. Now, sit back and enjoy this week's edition of The Crossover. Powered by Card Ladder.
Oh, what's up, Josh?
What up?
Looks like you got the haircut that I've been needing to get.
I did. I hadn't gotten one in a couple months, so.
You get that one for Larry?
No, that was after, actually. But.
Yeah.
Ended.
So, let's just warm up talking about Larry a little bit while people come in, because there was questions about Larry.
Oh, I need the full audience here for that. I want all the attention I can get.
Okay, all right, we'll put it off then. We'll wait. What about, do you have any mail days this week?
I do not. Do you?
Well, I just have a very small one. It's just this Colin Sexton, Luck of the Lottery Gold, BGS 9.5. So,
what's left?
Still quite a few. The priciest one left is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. And I'm not in any rush to spend four figures on that card, and that's what it's going to take right now, probably. So
this is a dumb question, but is it only players from the lottery that year?
I think it is. Yeah,
there are 15 cards.
Well, yeah, there's 15. One of them is a team or a group checklist, and then 14 player cards. Yeah.
How many are left? You have Jaren Jackson left, Mikal Bridges.
I do have Jaren Jackson. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we have JJJ.
Yeah, we have.
You need Bridges. You need Bridges and Shea.
We need Bridges. I believe there's a Bridges on eBay for $10,000.
Oh, steal.
So I was thinking about hitting Ben.
Just remember, there's 9 more.
Yeah. So, well, we have 7 now. Okay, so we have half of the players now, and plus we need the team card too.
Got it.
So that's where we're at. Christina, did you have any mail days? No. Stiff Arm Wax had like 10, but he's not ready to show them yet. So
those are all from this week?
Yeah, I think they are.
Wow. He had all those sweet football ones I saw.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, some of that stuff is pretty old. Like, he got a bunch of new stuff in this week that he's pumped up about. There he is. Okay. Do we have any announcements, Card Ladder related or otherwise? You appeared, first of all, Brett from Stacking Slabs appeared on Cardboard Chronicles, which I think we mentioned last week. And then you appeared on Stacking Slabs this week. So I encourage everybody to go check that out. Are there any other announcements we have, content-wise or card letter-wise?
Yes. We released Showcase likes and favorites. Same thing. But you can now like the cards in Showcase. It'll show up in a separate tab on your Showcase page so you can keep track of them. And then you can now sort by which cards have the most likes. So we'll see who are the popular people.
Oh, that's cool. Have you added any to your favorites yet?
Well, I built the feature, so yeah, I needed to test it out. So yes. But I haven't done it. I haven't done it for real as a user.
And is there a way to see how many Oh yeah, yep. Yes, of course there is. Okay, I have one. Can anybody see what's in my favorites folder?
No.
Okay. I have one card in my favorites folder.
And you should save it for the end of the show to see who sticks around.
Okay, a little teaser.
That's called marketing, Chris. I don't know if you know anything about that.
You're not.
That is not called marketing, Josh.
That's called movie life, movie trailer life. All right.
Not called marketing, thanks.
Frosty Hold says, is Josh the same height as Larry Fitzgerald?
Yes, we are both 6'3".
KPB card says, what will happen first? Larry Fitzgerald comes on the crossover or truly sponsors the crossover?
Well, seeing as how I wasn't even following Larry until he came over to my house, that one seems unlikely. And he's not following me. So I think you have to at least be following to join lives, right?
Doesn't he get how this works? If you follow him, he should follow you back.
Well, I'm like 90%, 95% sure he doesn't know that we do this. Like, he doesn't know. I didn't tell him about my, I wasn't sitting there bragging about my content. Hey, man.
You didn't tell him we do middle of the night, Friday night live?
You didn't tell him you're a hot influencer?
I did not. Yeah. Hey, before you come in, I got a couple stipulations here, guy. You can't just walk in here. First, who am I? What's my handle?
What's my best 6 cards?
Right. Yeah. I don't let any Joe Schmo in here.
And then rank. Could you just, Larry? Did you at any time ask Larry to rank your cards? You just kind of lay them out and say, Larry, what's your favorite 5 here in order? No. Oh, okay.
Christ, no. He did he went through them kind of fast, and I was like, slow down, Larry. Let me tell you the stories here, guy. Like, you're going too quick. But he did pull a couple that stood out, I guess, which.
Okay. And which were they?
The new limited logos, because it's the only one that's not a PSA slab. So it literally did stick out. It was thicker. And then the finest gold rookie. He's like, this one looks cool.
And does he think LeBron is a good PC choice? Is he a fan of LeBron as well?
Well, he was more interested in the Bridges and Chris Paul being a part owner of the Suns. So he was asking me about. His questions to me were pretty astute. I thought smart. He asked me why Ja Morant and Trae Young, guys like that, are more expensive than guys like Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook. And I said, I don't know. That's the way the hobby works. People really like the prospecting side of it. And he was like, I really like the more gradual, steady growth. And I was like, man, maybe you should come on the crossover.
Bro, he was hating on Trae Young and Ja Morant. He would fit right in.
He would fit right in. I was like, God, you're speaking my language, Larry. We should be best friends.
That's amazing. All right.
Did you ask him if he knew LeBron and if you could call LeBron and tell him that LeBron should also be your best friend and you could be a tripod of best friendship?
No, I saw your post, and I know exactly what you meant, Christina. You're the only one who really got that. And she was like, "You're one step closer," or what? I think that's what you said.
You're getting closer.
Getting closer, yeah. It's like.
Did you say the tripod of friendship?
Yeah.
You're just not. You don't know the lingo of friends with celebrities, Chris. You just don't know it. So
I don't.
Just stay. This is not your lane.
I'm way.
No, dude. It was
I'm way out of my element right now.
It was so surface level. He came over. It was fun. It was great. It was exciting for me, but we didn't get into the weeds of anything really. It was just kind of talking about cards. He talked about how he was self-aware of how much he should be signing. He's not trying to sign a lot because he knows that if you sign a lot, it devalues your stuff. So I thought that was interesting, and he's interested in getting all of his best cards.
That's pretty cool. And you helped him. Excuse me. You helped him get some, right?
Yes, all the ones that he had came through me one way or the other. And then this newest one, was hand delivered. So that was kind of the exciting part. I mean, the weirdest part, dude, was just the moment that he pulled up to my house and walked to my door. It was just this is so weird. I just can't get over this. It's super weird.
Were you nervous at all?
At one point I was like, it'd be better if he just didn't come over. It's just too much. My brain can't handle this. It would just be so much easier if he didn't come over. And then when he was like, hey, he literally, I didn't get a lot of communication. He just emailed me at one point and it said, JJ, I'm 5 minutes away. And I was like, oh my God. Holy shit. So at that point it was like, you know what? No turning back.
So do you go by JJ now?
No one's ever called me JJ. Well, I mean, I'm sure someone has, but this is the first attempt to really make it a nickname. And I was like, I'm not going to say no, it's just Larry Fitzgerald. What am I supposed to say?
My name is Joshua, sir.
Yeah,
Christina would do that. Christina would.
I bet you would.
Yeah. Go back over there. It's way too early in the show for all this, buddy. Now.
This is very interesting, and I didn't get the full story yet. So.
All right. Well, do you have another fucking question, or what's next? Do people know what day it is today? Josh, Midwest Vintage Cards wants to know, what did you serve Larry when he came over? Is he truly or a White Claw fan?
I mean, he was only here for like maybe 30 minutes, so we didn't really get to the drinking beers part.
You didn't throw a few back with old Larry?
Me and Lair, we go way back, so it's just we weren't feeling it today. No, my wife offered him a drink, and he said no thanks.
I mean, maybe he's keeping in tip-top shape for that comeback.
Oh, my son, Samuel, asked him, he's like, how's football going? He's like, that's pretty good. I was like, he's retired.
Oh, that's amazing. Damn. Okay, so look, on a little bit more of a serious note, you're obviously involved in Larry Fitzgerald building up his collection. And what do you think about athletes getting involved in collecting their own cards? What would you tell an athlete? What did you tell Larry? What can we offer to athletes to help them get involved in collecting their own cards?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's no secret that you and I aren't big fans of the whole, celebrity entrance into the hobby and the way that it's kind of treated a lot of times with, people trying to glob onto them and trying to use it to boost the overall market. And so for an individual player to like genuinely collect themselves, I think is a much more interesting end game. And I think it's something that's more organic and authentic. And I don't see it like directly, individually increasing the market for really anything. It's more about just overall excitement and awareness from the athletes themselves. And I just think it's an interesting, it's just like an interesting piece to this whole thing. Like we collect memorabilia of them, and for them to be self-aware of it and, respond back to us and by collecting it themselves is kind of an interesting thing to me. And so for this individual case, he lives in the same state as me, Arizona Cardinals, there's a connection there, and I know his market fairly well, so it kind of makes sense to help him out. It's just a fun little side project, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty neat, man.
I'm not trying to tag him and, get him to be all, buddy and into the hobby and look at me and Larry. It's more of just like shining a light on the collector, a player collecting himself genuinely and like how he approached it. And I thought it was just a fun story. I was iffy on even sharing that post, I told you that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, any final thoughts about your rendezvous with Larry?
No, I think it's going to be probably a one-time thing, but it was a fun experience. I'm glad it happened.
Cool. Okay, well, it's time to talk some NBA.
People are just going to start calling me JJ.
Yep, you might not be able to avoid it at this point.
Oh well.
Yeah. So, we kind of avoided talking NBA when our teams were too involved, but now they're not. So, all right. Card Shop Dad says, give us some NBA Finals hot takes. And I've got one. I don't know if you have one.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, here's mine. And it has an asterisk, okay? But no matter who wins Finals MVP this year, no matter who wins, it will be the first time that player was the best player in a series in these playoffs. So if it's Steph Curry or Jason Tatum or whoever else, and the one asterisk that I would put on that is Tatum probably was the best player in round one of the Eastern Conference. But other than that, I think Giannis was clearly the best player in round two. And I think Jimmy Butler, even though he had some stinkers, was overall the best player in round 3. And then if you go to the West, well, take my opinion with a grain of salt, but statistically, I think Jokic was by far the best player in round 1, partially because Curry came off the bench. Curry didn't even play starters minutes in that series until games 4 and 5. And then in round 2, Ja Morant averaged 38 points per game against the Warriors in that series.
Look what's better round
2. You mean no, I mean just heads up against the Warriors.
I see. You're saying the teams that are still left. I'm sorry.
Yes, and then in round 3, the Warriors played the Mavericks, and I would, once again, my homer takes, whatever.
That's what you're saying. Yeah, it's the year of the team, right? Isn't that your take?
Yes. But I just wanted to say it in a way that allowed me to throw some shade towards, towards those players.
But the other side of that is this is the year of, the complete team, right? The sort of build it from the draft kind of team.
Yep.
Because a lot of media has been talking about, teams maybe reversing course on that, needing 3 superstars and building a team. What do you think about that?
Oh, absolutely. It's totally the year of the team, man. And, honestly, we very well could have had a Final Four that was Phoenix and Golden State in the West, in Miami and Boston in the East. Those are all teams with superstars, but they're also teams that go 8 players deep and really function at their best when everybody's involved. So, I think that's a really neat part of this year's playoffs is that it's the year of the team for sure. And, we were talking if you had to pick an NBA Finals MVP after game 1 and only game 1, isn't it Al Horford? Wasn't he the best player in that game?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Curry had a better overall game still. It's statistically he had better stats across the board, but Horford had a spectacular fourth quarter. He was sort of the X factor, whatever you want to call that. He was great.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was 9 of 12 for 26 points. And in the playoffs, it's
crazy.
It's not just that game or just a few other. In the playoffs, Horford is shooting something like 58% on twos, 46% on threes, and 84% from the free throw line. That's a big enough sample size to whereas that guy's actually, and it probably helps that he sat out
a season
last year, right?
Well, he's like a different version of Chris Paul where they go to the Thunder. They basically Chris Paul didn't really take the year off, but they sort of were forgotten as these vets that are left for dead on the Thunder. They return to a team with, a nice upside, and then they make it to the finals. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. Okay, do you have a hot take regarding these?
Well, I wanted to finish on Horford. He had a really good game in the Bucks series. Remember that amazing game?
Yep. And
a bunch of people were like, "Oh, he's never going to have another good game this playoffs. Total fluke." Well, here he is in the finals, doing it again. Same basic stat line,
Yeah.
My hot take. It's really just a hot take. It probably won't actually happen. I'm just saying something spicy. I think Klay Thompson's going to be benched by the end of this series.
That's very spicy.
He looked really slow, dude. He just couldn't get around anybody. He would try to drive to the basket and couldn't do it. They need his shooting. They're not actually going to bench him. They need his shooting. His defense is okay, but he just did not look I would have preferred Poole over him if I were the Warriors.
Yeah, except Poole was bad as well. In game, that's as fiery as Curry started off hitting 6 threes in the first quarter. The other members of the pool party or whatever, the Splash Bros +1, we're just not we're not present in the same way that Curry was. And the problem with Poole is that if he's not giving you offensive production, forget about it, because he is going to get cooked on defense.
Well, take Bill Simmons' takes for what it's worth, given that he's extremely biased in this series, but he was saying that he thinks Draymond's going to get benched. And I was like, I mean, Draymond plays really good D. He's still like he's calling a lot of the plays on defense. He's kind of moving things around, so he's important on defense.
Yeah.
But his shooting was really bad last night.
Yep.
And the Celtics figured that out in the fourth quarter. They just left him wide open, and they were just making Draymond beat them and they were really guarding the three-point line very well, I thought, and they had Robert Williams cleaning up the mess. So they might have figured something out in the fourth, but I'm sure the Warriors will adjust. I mean, the Warriors are probably going to blow them out in game 2. That's how this goes.
Yeah, well, Draymond, obviously was chunking up bricks all night, but when he makes one or two of those three-pointers, that will scare the shit out of the other team, and all of a sudden the whole game plan changes. I've seen it happen a few times this series. I mean, he's shooting 33% from 3 in the playoffs this year, or he starts clawing you in the eye. He was talking some trash after the game too, which was pretty funny. He was like, "Yeah, he was like, we dominated the first 42 minutes of the game," and it's like, it was like, well, first of all, dude. Boston was winning at the half. You did dominate quarters 1 and 3, but the shot quality analysis also says that Boston should have won by exactly 12 points. So Boston played the better game. There wasn't
weird. That's the weirdest shit take I've ever heard. We've almost beat you tonight. Okay, good job, Draymond. You lost. That's not how these games work.
Yeah, he was.
Also, it's not even if he is trying to say the minutes. Boston whipped their ass at the beginning of the fourth quarter, so he could have said 36 minutes.
Yep. But even
the Celtics,
they didn't. They Boston definitely won quarter 2 comfortably.
Right, they outscored them by 6, and well, I mean, the game to me was swung in the first 3 minutes of the fourth when Curry was on the bench. They got it from 12 to 5 immediately, and then it was basically like a pick-em game at that point.
Yes, it was. Just here's the thing on Poole, and this is my take. This is my biggest takeaway from that game. Poole was a game worst -19. He was 2 of 7 from the floor. He had 4 turnovers and 9 points. He had 2 assists and 2 rebounds. It's Jordan Poole is the ultimate X factor in this series. I mean, I actually rewatched quarter 1 of game 3 of the Denver Golden State series because that's the game we went to, and I don't know why. I just watched it today. I watched the first quarter. And Poole was just absolutely – he looked like a completely different player. He was on fire, man. He was coming off of those screens. And remember, this is when he was starting and Curry was benched because of his injury. And Poole just looked so much better, man. And the statistics bared it out too. I mean, if Poole's going to keep on shooting 2 of 7 and having 4 turnovers to 9 points,
they're going to lose.
They're going to get cooked.
Yeah, the reason I say that Poole is so important more than Clay is because Boston has really good perimeter defense. They've got a lot of guys that can guard the ball.
Yeah.
And I just felt like the Warriors needed a second guy to break people down off the dribble. Like Curry can't do it every play,
100%.
And Clay couldn't do it. Draymond can't do it. Wiggins doesn't do it. So I just felt like Poole's important to this specific series. And I know that his defensive numbers are bad, but it's the Warriors' offense really that is going to have to shine because the Celtics are going to score. The Warriors are going to have to outscore them.
Dude, it started getting real scary in the fourth quarter when, it was just Curry having to take over and do everything on offense. It was just like, man, this isn't going to work. This can't be a one-man show against
he got tired.
Celtics. Yeah, that's just –
he got tired in the fourth.
Yeah. And then, on the flip side, Jason Tatum, you can't expect him to shoot 3 of 17, Derek White also isn't going to shoot 5 of 8, but that's why that shot quality metric is so key because it's not taking into consideration who actually was on and who wasn't. It's saying based on the shooting percentages of these players in these particular situations, what can you expect to happen on average? And Boston won. Dude, a double-digit shot quality victory is rare. So
is shot quality like a multi-simulation thing? Like they take all the shots and simulate it multiple times and average it?
I don't know how they simulate it. I don't think they need to really because it's just like it's just like this. It's like, okay, Curry took a 25-foot shot where the nearest defender was, also a shooting guard who was within 5 feet. And Curry's percentage over the course of the playoffs and the regular season or something, is 41% of those shots. So the value of that shot is 41% times 3, and then they just do that analysis for every shot that gets taken.
Yeah, that seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Well, I'm sure they're using like shot charts and like, big data and actually like using computers to solve these problems, right?
Yes, absolutely. And they're a full-blown business. They sell this service to teams. Awesome. Yeah, so
where are you getting these? Are you using their website or are you paying for it?
No, they post an infographic after almost every game on Twitter. And so
gotcha.
That's where I get it from. Okay, Mad City Collector says that the Celtics are heavily favored analytically. Okay, kind of dovetailing with what we were just talking about. So why do people continue to insist that the Warriors are the favorites? So let me just say one thing, Mad City.
That's your question.
The Warriors are not the favorites anymore. Boston is almost a 2-1 series favorite right now. So, but what do you think, Josh? Why, even though before Game 1, Sharps and 538 and ESPN's Power Index all had the Celtics as big favorites, but the series was priced as if the Warriors were favorites, and a lot of the public felt like the Warriors were favorites. So what do you think?
Everyone on the ESPN pregame show, all 5 people picked the Warriors in 6 or 7.
Of course they did.
I think people are trying to will Steph Curry into some finals MVP. That seems to be the narrative. And I'm going to ask you this question. Why did you pick the Warriors? You've seen all the stats, all the advanced analytics. You picked the Celtics to make the finals, and you picked the Warriors to not make the finals. So why bail from it now?
Because my take doesn't mean anything, and I do think that here's my take really boils down to something like this simple. Like, I don't put a lot of thought into it, but dude, that Miami team, as hobbled as they were, as injured as they were, still were 1 possession away from beating Boston. 1 possession away. And to me, obviously matchups matter in all of basketball, and this is no different, but I think that Golden State, by comparison, ran through the Western Conference and never really was contested in a fashion anywhere close to the way that Milwaukee without Middleton in the injury-plagued Heat were able to contest Boston. And to me, that just said I think the Warriors are a superior team. Right,
which makes sense, in a vacuum. What if the Celtics, though, are one of those teams that just, like, play down to their – I wouldn't say down to their competition, but, like, they played down to the injuries and they just sort of, like, got into a close match and they're going to play that same way against the Warriors?
Yep. Well, dude, Game 1 was convincing. You're on the road. You win by double digits after going into the fourth quarter down 12. And you win the shot quality battle, too. So it's not like it was some shooting variance fluke.
Well, why can't you root for this? I mean, we all know you're actually rooting against the Celtics because you're sick of the Tatum stuff. Why don't you just root for the Celtics and Al Horford to get Finals MVP?
Yeah, I mean, look, dude, I'm going to be displeased with the outcome either way. I'm really at that point in my hobby life where, like, only 1 or 2, maybe like there's maybe like 3 or 4 outcomes that will make me happy, and there's like 10,000 that will piss me off. So,
welcome to the hobby.
That's where I'm at right now. What can I say?
Yeah, I do it differently. Like each individual series, I try to hate one team and like the other, so that I can somehow have some rooting interest and I can try to enjoy it. And I've just made it the Celtics because I've always hated the Warriors, and it's just easier that way.
That's totally fair. I think this is going to be. I thoroughly enjoyed Game 1. I thought it was super competitive. I loved that Boston was able to come back from a 12-point deficit. You know what? The Warriors can come back from that same deficit too. I saw them do it in the Western Conference Finals. They were down 14 at the half, and they won that game by like 10. So both these teams can put up 10 points in 90 seconds, and this series is no game is really ever going to be out of reach, I don't think, in this series. So I think it's going to be a good series. But I'll tell you this. If Boston wins Game 2, this series is over.
A wrap. It's a must-win.
Yeah.
But the Warriors are going to play like that. they're going to play like it's a must-win. They're going to be flying around, and you know how the Warriors can get when the ball's humming around. They're tough to beat, so I expect a bounce back from the Warriors big time.
Yeah. Yep. And I expect a lot of adjustments. I heard somebody describe Kerr's coaching and substitution patterns as being arrogant, with the fact that he was playing, Iguodala and Draymond, or Draymond and Looney, or Looney and Iguodala together for huge stretches, just literally two non-shooters on the floor. And, I also noticed that Kerr coached a few arrogant games in Western Conference Finals too, where he was playing Kuminga for long stretches, and nothing against Kuminga, he's a good player. Bielitsa coming in randomly for a long stretch. Like, these guys are good players, but he's just experimenting here in big games. And
also they were arrogant in the post game. Did you watch post game? Kerr, Klay Thompson, Draymond, all basically were like, they just made their shots, and it was like, yeah, because they were fucking wide open, bro. You got to play better D. It's just it was a weird post game. They were super arrogant about it, like, oh, they won't shoot that well ever again. Well, they will if they're wide open.
Yeah, and guess what? Tatum's never going to shoot that poorly again. That was his worst shooting percentage of the playoffs. He's never
second worst of any player in the playoffs.
yeah. Dylan Brooks level. So he's never going to shoot that poorly again. All right. So by the same token, yeah, Derek White going 5 of 8 is there's some luck involved, but Tatum going 3 of 17 is luck the other way also.
And Brown was only 10 of 23. It's not like he was 15. It's like, I don't know. You guys are playing with fire if you think that way a little bit, Yeah. And someone that I was arguing with about it's like, Tatum has 2 duds every series. I'm like, and he's only got 1 to go, and they won. This is looking good for them.
That's right.
1 more dud in 6 games? I'll take that.
You better hope he has 7 duds.
Seriously, at this rate, I mean, the Celtics will root for the duds. But he did have 13 assists. You got to give him props. I mean, the Celtics are making shots, but, his shot was clearly not falling, so he was looking to get other guys involved, and he had a decent game overall, other than the shooting. Yeah,
I mean, I agree with that. I'm not gonna go into full, Bill Simmons mode or full who are the announcers? Full Mark Jackson mode, and just be like, whoa, he was just a phenomenal playmaker, and look at how hard he runs back after he misses. I'm not gonna go into that level.
Did they say that?
Oh yeah. But what I will say is that 13 assists is really good. Only 2 turnovers, a plus 16 on the night. But dude, there are very few players in this league who can get away with a 3 of 17 stinker for 12 points in 42 minutes, still win by 12, and not have the media skewer you. And Jason Tatum, for whatever reason, gets a pass. But I'm not here to kill him either, dude. 13 assists is very impressive. That probably led everybody. Yeah, that led the game by far in assists. So that's great stuff. A plus 16. I mean, dude, if you win, you win. That's what the ultimate outcome is. So.
Yeah, plus the NBA is really hoping that Tatum, they're willing him to be better. The NBA marketing and media and stuff really need Tatum to kind of make a step up as a superstar in the finals. These finals are, how it is, man. These finals are predicated on superstars usually. If you go look at finals MVPs from the last 30 years when Jordan started this whole run, it's all the best players are finals MVPs, and they would like that to continue.
Yes.
It's part of the heritage and the marketing of the NBA. So you got to understand that's going to happen.
Yep. I agree. Thornton 13 says, would you rather invest in the S&P 500 ETF trust, which is just like the S&P 500 but investable, or in Jason Tatum rookies? So let's not trigger too many of the stock aficionados this week, but basically let's take this question as saying,
sure,
let's talk about the Jason Tatum market for a little while.
Yeah, well, I can protect us both with a very simple answer. You showed the Jason Tatum index, and it's just it hasn't gone down ever, right? It's just up and right.
In the last 2 years, yeah.
But what about the last 3 months? Isn't it pretty steady up?
Oh yeah, same thing. Yeah, I mean, dude. Oh yeah, yes. Over.
That's what I mean.
Let me get some numbers here for us. This is the Jason Tatum index on Card Ladder, which has 249 cards in it. His index over the last 3 months is up 35%.
Yeah. So I'm picking stocks just because everything's been getting destroyed except Jason Tatum for some reason. That's just because, people are excited about him moving through these playoffs. Eventually he'll win or lose. The result will happen. His stuff will cool off.
Yeah. Yep. Just for the record, Tatum's market did lose over half of its value over the course of his first 2 seasons. Yeah. So, Tatum's index fell lost more than 50% of its value, and it was hovering right there up until the end of 2019. And then in the spring of 2020, that's when his index started ascending. And since the spring of 2020, his index is up about tenfold. So
that's wild. I
mean,
mean,
a lot of growth.
I would never actually recommend you invest in stocks over cards. That's insane. But it's a pretty black and white question here, I think.
Yeah, I mean, dude, his market is pretty overheated, but still, I mean, I suppose, let's see, he had a National Treasures RPA sell for around 200,000. Yeah, so his PSA 10 RPA is a pop 3, and it sold for just shy of $200,000 2 weeks ago. So that puts him in a very elite class. I think, that leapfrogs Trae Young, that leapfrogs, well, has Morant I don't even know if Morant has any PSA 10s out there of his RPA. He doesn't. But yeah, that puts him in rarefied air for sure. So yeah, but if a guy gets a championship, man, it really does kind of change that player's career outlook, especially if they're like the best player on that team.
It just feels though to me like that this is a team. The Celtics are like a good team. Like I just don't see how. I felt like if the Suns would have won last year, people would not have gone insane for Booker cards because it's very obvious that the Suns were a good team, and it's the same thing. I feel the same way about the Celtics. That's not to throw shade on Tatum or his collectors and stuff. That's just the guy went 3 of 17 and they won by 12 on the road. It just at a certain point, he's not LeBron or Jordan. Or if those guys went 3 for 17, they're getting waxed.
Yeah, that's a really fair take. And there's a part of me too that is rooting for a big Jason Tatum moment because that will be good for the hobby. That will be good for it's another success story that the hobby can have, and it's also quite interesting too. I think this is in a very small sample size, but the hobby's been pretty good about picking winners over the course of a season. So the hobby got really high on Joe Burrow last year, and then we saw what he did. And the hobby got really high on Jason Tatum this year, and now he's in the finals too. So tip of the hat to the hobby for picking some winners.
Are you saying that he's gonna lose like Joe Burrow though?
No. What's the worst thing that happens if Jason Tatum wins and he gets Finals MVP? I mean, a new superstar is born, and his market will. I think it'll still go up even more if he wins.
Yeah,
that's my take because it will still be such an unexpected turn of events that it'll take a while to process, and people be developing all sorts of narratives around him and around the Celtics team. Is this a dynasty? I mean, there'll be so much to be optimistic about at that point.
Yeah, I mean, dude, honestly, I don't really see much of a connection between him and Luka or comparisons. They're very super different players, so I wouldn't even sweat over that.
No, I mean, but it does piss me off though, because I do get DMs from people, from trolls, and I will go to town on these trolls out here if they want to challenge me. But yeah, no, I agree, man. Someone's gonna win this year, man. That's the ultimate reality of this thing. Someone's gonna win, and some group of people are gonna be pissed off about it.
Well, I'm just hoping Curry can finally get that Finals MVP. It would be so nice. I pray for him that he can finally get over that hump of getting an award that he should have had.
A lot of people have been talking about this, and like the really, really big brains, they groan when this topic comes up. Oh, do we have to talk about Curry and his finals MVPs? He really should have won the one over Iguodala. It's like, okay, fine. So he's 1 of 3 rather than 0 of 3. But dude, let's reframe this conversation. What if Curry was 3 of 3 for finals MVPs right now? He won the 2015 one, and then he won the 2 with Kevin Durant on the team. What if Curry is 3 for 3 in finals MVPs? Then he's like a top 5 player of all time. That's how much it matters to truly be the best player on the best team 3 different times. Dude, Kobe Bryant was not the finals MVP every time he won a championship. Shaquille O'Neal was not the finals MVP every time he won a championship. Tim Duncan was not the finals MVP every time he won a championship. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was not the finals MVP every time he won a championship. It is a very, very select few who win multiple championships and are the finals MVP every time.
Agreed. I said to you last night, I don't think finals MVP is like the end-all be-all for what you need in an argument, but when you don't win it, it's a data point that we can look at.
Yes, it is. All right. That's good. That's enough NBA, I think. Okay. Rodman PC. Unless, do you want to make a series prediction, or do you want to amend it? You're looking pretty good right now. I think you had Boston.
I didn't really make a public pick. I just am rooting for Boston, and I don't really like to pick against teams I'm rooting for, so I just pick Boston, I guess.
Yep. Fair enough. Fair enough. You'd be silly to not take Boston right now.
I don't think I'm some genius. They hit a shit ton of tough threes. I mean, a lot of them were wide open. I'm joking, but like the Derek White 3, I thought was the biggest shot of the game. It was such a tough shot. He wasn't even prepared to shoot it, and he just jacked it up and swished it, and it was like, well, now they're down. Now they're up 3.
That's how it goes sometimes. Okay. Rodman PC says the National in Atlantic City is only 54 days away. How nervous does that make you?
Oh my God,
well,
Rodman, stop!
Just look at Christine, and that's my answer.
Well, look, can we start pumping the National a little bit here, or what?
Sure. I mean, it's going to be the biggest show of the year. It's the National. It's amazing. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah.
I mean, what negative do you get for shilling the National?
I don't know. I don't think any, but I haven't seen too much talk about it, to be honest with you. We are still 54 days out, according to Rodman's calendar, which I didn't fact check. But we're,
once the finals are over, we'll be ramping up for it.
Yeah. Yes, I think that's fair. And I'm super excited. I love the casino atmosphere. And I think it's going to
recent gambling addict. Welcome.
Yeah. Can I tell you about the field?
All right. That's the most wholesome thing that's ever happened in this hobby is you playing craps and learning about the field.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I also love that, look, this will be a very awkward take, but unlike Vegas, Atlantic City offers the boardwalk and the ocean nearby, which I love being on the water. So I think this is going to be a really memorable National. And it's going to be smaller, which has its pros and cons. I'm not so opposed to it being a little bit smaller and get a little more time to spend with more people. You can spend more time with people because there's less people to see and talk to and stuff. So,
who do you most want to take a walk down the boardwalk with one card in hand with?
Which card would I most like to take on a stroll on the boardwalk?
It's 2 questions, yeah. What person do you want to walk down the boardwalk with to have a discussion? And then what card are you each carrying?
I'd love to take a stroll down the boardwalk with Justin 610 sports cards so that everybody can stare at us. and probably ask me, how tall is he? And then what card? would I most like to take down the boardwalk?
Dude, people gawk at that guy. I walked down the strip with him at Vegas, and like every other person's like, "You're tall." He's like, "No shit."
You want to take a stroll down the boardwalk with Justin? That's your
Yeah, that was like what. Christina, I fucking lobbed him an alley-oop.
Literally like softballed up a pitch
Yeah.
for you to hit out of the park, and your answer is, you know what? I want to stare up in Justin's eyes and talk about cards together. Yeah.
Christina, I lobbed that alley-oop so gently up in the air. It was like, he's basically Giannis, and he has like infinite hop.
No, it's too late. Don't even change the
No.
answer.
You're right. You're completely right. And I missed it.
You're going to say someone else. And
I wanted to be Josh.
No.
Me and Josh. You're right. Sorry.
Wait, are you wearing flip-flops and socks?
For you, no. I'm putting on my New Balances.
Closed-toed shoes. Oh wow.
But in all seriousness, you're right. Stiff arm wax and I think will take the struggle.
Just a couple twins.
Time.
Right. People won't be able to tell who's who.
That's fine.
Oh no! When she starts going like that, that's fine. That's not good.
Right. That's like woman talk for your dead. No, it's fine. It's fine. Whatever.
Okay.
Oh, the answer was, look at C. Keith said, Gary V. Giannis prison-based PSA pen. That's pretty good.
That's good.
I'm honestly surprised you didn't say Rodman as well.
Rodman?
I thought you were going to say Rodman.
I would hold Rodman's hand and walk down.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, I could see that.
It's nice having Omar have the protection. Like, wouldn't Omar have his, like, cartel guys with him?
100%. 100%.
He would protect the card, because that's what I'm concerned about.
Exactly.
I would not walk down the boardwalk with any card on my person, to be honest. Atlantic City is not that place, guys. Let me repeat. Atlantic City is not that place, guys. So
The answer was Christina and no cards.
Ah, shoot. Damn it. Messed up again.
That's fine.
Do you have an answer, Josh?
Oh, God, no.
All right. Card Shop Dad says, is the Card Ladder crew planning to be at any events this year besides the National?
Oh, I kind of want to go to Dallas. I'm like low-key trying to get you guys to Dallas.
I'd go to Dallas.
In November?
No, in freaking, like, in a couple weeks.
Oh. The one that's like right before the National.
A primer.
The primer. Okay, well, that's something to think about. And then also, let me just say that on June 7th, which is Tuesday, at Bleecker Trading in New York, Jordan, a.k.a. Fat Snacks Cards, and Mike Gio, and Jesse from Sports Cards Nonsense, and Carvin, and other distinguished guests will be hosting a trade night at Bleecker. So check that out. How about that for a plug?
And there's like the Midwest Monsters happening before National too. It's happening this month. We are going to the industry summit.
We are.
Like, I think we are.
Josh, are you going to the industry summit?
I have it on our
I
calendar.
think so.
Sweet.
It's on my calendar.
Yeah.
If it's on the calendar, it's happening.
If
Okay.
Christina's put it on the calendar, that means we're going.
That's awesome.
My calendar is pretty official.
I know it is. Okay, industry summit is a lot of fun.
Yes, that's in Vegas.
Do we have
So I know.
Go ahead.
So I know I've made a comeback of sorts on Clubhouse recently. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been on Clubhouse a lot. And so this is probably an old take, but Jordan Fat Snacks is like creeping up into Hall of Fame status of Clubhouse. That you even said on the other night, I quote, 40 to 42% of the reason I'm on Clubhouse is because Jordan's in here. You said that.
I did. I mean, is it not? Did that not resonate? I mean, the guy.
Because he makes He sticks to his word. That's why I like him. He comes on, he says, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it on Clubhouse, and then he does it.
Oh, yeah. And he fears no man. He fears
That's exactly right.
no man.
But when he says I'm going to do something, it's usually that I'm going to confront this person, and I'm going to go at him, and I got to see that. And he does it.
Yeah, he is a spectacle. It would also probably sadden you to know that he actually was suspended from Clubhouse today.
What? Why? How does that even happen?
But he's back under a new name.
Oh, Lord.
So what? Because I guess the way Clubhouse works is if you report somebody, then like a moderator or an administrator will go back and listen to, the hour or whatever. And so, does Jordan maybe once in a while say something that might be close to the edge? I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I feel like if you played his audio at like an elementary school, it would probably not go over well.
You played his audio at a, I don't know, something very adult themed. It's still
like a rated R movie audience.
Jordan is rated X, triple X. Okay. Cola Card says, how do you change the setting from private to public in the card ladder showcase? And so somebody actually had this question on Clubhouse earlier as well. And so you can do it on both. And what you want to do is if you're in your card ladder collection on desktop, just pull up whatever collection it is that you want to be in, and then just hit this guy. Hit this icon, and hitting that icon will enable you to make it public. And if you're on the app, you just need to navigate your way to the menu that shows you the list of your different collections, and then just hit that same icon, and it will let you make it public. Turn
your camera around. I think I know where the confusion is.
Sure.
I might get your opinion on this. Go to the list view, the little icon of the list view instead of you see the little private thing? I think maybe that might be confusing. That private is meant to be like, it's your card that's not tracked by the ladder. There's no tracking. It's just your own card. That's separate from the showcase we're talking about. So do you think that might be the confusion?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. What do I know? I am not the prototypical user of any product.
The public-private showcase thing is really at the collection level, not the card level.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. RJ Hampton Card says, have you found a card you've been chasing for in the showcase feature in Card Ladder?
I haven't. Have you?
Yeah, I fucking found one.
The black?
Yeah. Showcases.
Did that turn out okay, or how'd that go?
Yeah, Showcase is responsible for bankrupting me and 2 future generations.
Did that actually happen because of the Showcase feature? Can you say with definitive statement?
With 100%. When I go on Showcase, I search my favorite players, and that card popped up, and I was just like, boing.
Dude.
You're like, what?
He's picturing himself walking down the boardwalk with someone.
With Justin?
Right. It brings me so much joy knowing that people indirectly get cards because of things I do. I love that.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is fucking directly because of it.
Cola Cards in the chat says that's what he was confused on. Thanks. Good. I'm glad that we got that connected.
Good. Oh, look who's back. Okay. Bruin Killer says, should we be excited that 2021 Prism football is finally here? Is it worth $1,450 per box?
Did you see my post, my story?
Well, you were comparing the design aesthetics of last year's to this year's Prism.
And am I wrong?
No, I think not only are you not wrong, I think there's overwhelming consensus that this is...
Has anyone else said that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But, here's the thing. I really liked 2020's Prism design. But when 2020 Prism came out, most people hated that design. And then in 2019, most people hated that design when it came out. In 2018, most people hated that design when it came out. So I'm gonna give it time to see if it grows on us. But at this juncture, I completely agree that man, 2020 is on a whole different level than 2021 aesthetically.
Yeah, I've always thought Prism looks neat year to year. I think they're all cool, but I'm just like, this year is like super close to last year. I'm just like, really?
Yeah.
Can't even move the nameplate around or anything? It's like all in the same locations, everything.
Yeah.
It's even got like the little shape that's coming into the center part, on each side.
Yeah. Yeah.
2018 is by far the best, by the way. I know that's your favorite, so I'm hyping you up, but 2018 is amazing.
I love 2018 as well. All right. Mac Jones Prism Black. A few people in the chat are talking about it. We didn't get any questions coming in, but this is one of those things where it's just it's fiction. It's stranger than fiction. So what if I told you that a 13-year-old pulled the Mac Jones Prism Black 1 of 1? This is not a meme, folks. This is not a drill. A 13-year-old pulled it and then sold it for $100,000. A 13-year-old. I've been trying to tell you guys about these kids in this hobby.
Gosh, man.
Here it is.
Isn't this better than some big breaker pulling it?
Oh, yeah, it is. Look, I'm just saying I'm threatened and intimidated by these kids. I'm not looking forward to a lifetime of servitude to teenagers in this hobby. But so I mean, beautiful card, by the way. And I don't know, what do you think, man? Do you have any reactions to Mac Jones Prism Black 1 of 1 selling privately for $100,000?
If you would have asked me this 2 years ago, I would have been, hemming and hawing. Oh, how ridiculous! Why would you spend that much? But today, I'm like, you know what? Someone wants to spend $100,000 on that. Have at it. Good luck. It's part of the hobby, and it's cool that some kid has the opportunity to pull something like that and make $100,000. I'm just hoping that kid, and we know they will. They're going to do it. They're going to take that $100,000 and they're going to beat you at an auction. So we already know that's going to happen. That's good. Put that money back into the hobby.
Yep.
There's probably a big Michael Jordan guy. I think I heard that, and they're just going to start bidding up these showcase legacies and stuff like that.
Well, let's see. If they're 13, then that means they were born in 2009, probably.
Oof, Steph Curry.
And so Michael Jordan last played in a Bulls uniform 11 years before they were born. But, maybe they're Michael Jordan.
I think they're Anthony Edwards fans.
Yeah, that's probably fair. All right, Vinny Slabarino says he always enjoys the show, and here's his topic. Companies will buy back their own stock all the time, sometimes as a backstop for falling prices. This is not going where you think it's going.
Oh, I hope not, because I'm so sick of this topic.
And then he goes, what if players, card companies, or other interested parties, similar to companies in the stock market, are buying back their own cards to try and stop falling prices? Is that fair or foul?
Fair or foul? Like, I think that's wrong that they would do that, or that they are doing it or they're not.
I interpret it to mean, do you have a problem with players, card companies, or other interested parties buying up their own cards to try and stop falling prices?
Feels a little odd or a little icky, I guess. Mm-hmm. But can you really stop someone from buying something?
No, you can't. And, this is always going to be a part of the sports card market. But, in an ideal world, when it comes to collectibles, every person who buys something hopefully is the true end user of it. And that's how you're going to get to the most stable market, I think, that you can hope to get to. So there's a little worry that markets can get inflated that way, and that
manipulated.
Or even manipulated. So that's the worry, right? And I think it's a valid worry. It doesn't mean that any of this activity is illegal, but it just means that it's distorting the market a little bit. It's not really representing the true number of people who want to be end users of these cards.
Okay, if everyone's the end user, the market will definitely be stable because the market won't move at all
right.
after the cards make it into the end user hands.
That's not right, though. It will move a bit because end users can change their designs over time. So I was the end user of Michael Jordan inserts, and then I wasn't anymore. Then I said, I'm going to consolidate these into a different card. So I think you can still have, and as I say that out loud, that sounds really dumb, because how are you the end user if you're just selling it a few years later? But I think end user, when I use that phrase, it's more of a mindset. Somebody's buying that card strictly
intent.
Yeah, strictly for the purpose of putting it into their collection.
Yeah, the intent. It's like, are you doing this to like artificially inflate the value of your own cards to prop up your market? Or are you saying, hey, my market's cheap enough, I think it's a good time to buy my own stuff now? There's a huge difference between those two things.
Exactly. All right, Corner Taken Quickly says, the creation of the gem mint category is the greatest marketing move in hobby history. Agree or disagree?
I mean, it worked on me. I love gem mint. Something about that phrase and the pursuit of a 10. I mean, it works for me, so I guess so.
Yeah, not mad at the gem mints myself. So do you think if the scale was, whatever the lowest grade is, poor up through mint, and mint was the highest grade, would things be that much different?
Well, I think I've heard this before. I wasn't around then, but like when there was no grading cards, I think people would use mint as sort of the top because you felt disingenuous by calling something pristine or gem mint when it was raw, and you're just sort of selling a raw card. So the gem mint, I take this question as like it was the introduction of that term through grading, and it's become standardized, and you can actually say it's gem mint because a professional looks at it and gives it a gem mint grade. And if that's the spirit of the question, then yeah, it's great marketing.
Yeah, I think it is, and I think it's a very fun question. And yeah, dude, like the just grading in general is one of the greatest value adds that this hobby's ever seen. I wouldn't call it just marketing, but it's been pretty crazy what grading has done.
Do you think it's the greatest ad, other than more people coming into the hobby?
Other than card, probably, yeah. And look, dude, I'm a lot of collectors don't love this take, and that's fine. But I always thought graded cards are very cool. If the little kid in me who never owned a graded card as a kid, but maybe saw them once or twice and knew that they meant something important was happening inside that slab. And then when I came back to the hobby, I always thought graded cards were just really cool. I liked how they present. I like the size of them. I just thought graded cards were really cool. So I think grading is one of the coolest things that changed in the hobby from when I was not in it to now. But you know what else I put right up there with it? I put right up there with it price guides in Beckett Magazine. That was one of the coolest things ever too. I put eBay right up there and online marketplaces.
Instagram,
absolutely.
Dude, try to imagine a world without online marketplaces for the hobby, and you can only buy stuff in person physically through like the telephone. How would that even work? I thought about that the other day, and I was like, no wonder nobody had any good cards. You couldn't find anything. You only could pull it.
Dude, no wonder why the hobby didn't reach the heights that it's reached today.
Bingo.
The internet is unlocked so much.
You could argue eBay is more important in the historical pantheon of the hobby, that eBay is more important than grading. You could argue that easily.
Totally. And like, I am always impressed by the auction formats. I think that's such like when you were buying cards at the when you were buying cards,
the 80s.
and the 90s too. When you were buying cards at the card shop or at a card show, there weren't auctions. There was a price guide that maybe you could reference, and you just go back and forth. The auction format means you can get action on your card at any moment. You click one button, and you can send that thing off to auction, and you can get action. And being able to force the action on cards through auctions is why eBay becoming and ultimately landing as the central marketplace for cards has been so important for cards, because you can force the action, you can liquidate your cards at any time easily.
Yeah. You want to have a fun fantasy game?
Sure.
Take your resources and knowledge that you have today and put yourself back in the 90s. Would you just drive around the country buying up everything you could find of all your favorite stuff?
I wouldn't even know where to find it. You'd have to really do some back channeling and
You just go to national.
You could find malls. Yeah, the national malls. You could get scrappy with it.
Yeah, when I was a kid, the National wasn't even. I didn't even know what the hell that was.
But it was around.
It was.
But you have the resources and knowledge that you have today. That's the kicker. So you'd figure it out.
True. Yeah. Well, then, yeah. Dude, I'd be putting bulletin boards up that says any PMG green. I am a bot.
Especially the guy that's doing this. He's reaching the ball out. That's the one I want. The guy in the 23 Bulls jersey.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Let's stick with the theme of grading for a second.
Okay.
Ben X Crunner 1 says, have you seen the new grading service called TAG, Technical Authentication and Grading? And do you believe it will disrupt grading? So far, I'm intrigued. I think consistency and transparency have been lacking in grading, and any company or technology that moves this forward should be welcomed. That's from Ben X Crunner 1.
Oh, this is the easiest question of the night because I give the same answer every single time this comes up, which is once a month. Any new grading company has a gigantic hill to climb. I'm skeptical of any new grading company because the things you're climbing are existing pop reports of PSA, SPC, Beckett. They've got massive pop reports. And so if you don't have pop reports, then you are saying I have a pop one of everything, which means nothing. There's no history of authentication from these new companies. They don't have the experience to authenticate different years and eras of cards as much as these big companies. So you're fighting against that. And it's going to struggle in the open market because there's no confidence or trust in something that's brand new. And again, I say this every time. None of these have anything to do with the skill and or, quality or the look of the slab, the people in charge of the company. It's completely out of their control. They're just fighting against years of history. Grading and authenticating is primarily built on history and having done it for a long time, so it's going to be difficult. All that to say, if the things they're doing are positive and they bring, great innovation, they bring, better transparency, a better grading, whatever it is, it'll force the other companies to get better and, it'll be a better change.
Right on, man. That's an excellent answer. And I'll just add a few things to it. Well, first of all, you and I work for a corporation that also owns a grading company. So we're going to be predisposed to being biased, even though we will go out of our way not to be. So, not to speak more directly, we both work for Collectors, which owns Card Ladder and it owns PSA. PSA is like a sister company of ours. So there's that. And so, that bias should be known up front for the two people out there who don't know what it is. Okay. And then second of all,
AKA maybe the people who own a new company.
Well, and then, so second of all, then trying to speak to this thing. So here's why I think this, and also Josh alluded to this as well. And there are smart people that we are friends with in this hobby and or that we respect and admire who really believe in tag. So I want to acknowledge those people and just say, look, a lot of people have supported us and stuff that we've done. And hey, look, we want to support other people just the same. So, but with that said, here's a couple more general observations. First of all, there is definitely a demand in this hobby among collectors that, collectors want to have the experience where they look at their cards, they're able to determine, oh, this is a 9 and this is a 10. They send it in for grading and it gets a 9 and a 10. And then if they crack it out and send it again, it gets a 9 and a 10 again. They want, but there's two things there. They want the consistency. They want the same grade to come back every time, which is something that this new grading company is advertising as part of its appeal. But the other thing they want to be right. Okay, because every one of us as a collector who's graded cards before has probably had the experience of, man, I knew that this card was at least a 9 and it comes back a 6. And then we get upset, rightfully so, and we say, damn, these grading companies, it's too subjective. And, so everybody has felt that. Everybody has felt that. But here's the thing. Whether it's humans or computers or some combination thereof grading these cards, the first time any of us gets back a grade that's lower than what we thought it was, are we going to say, well, the computer said it, so I guess I was wrong? Or am I going to say, the computer's dumb, I know the grade and condition of my card, and this sucks? And I think it's going to be the latter. I think unless, the computer is able to give us the exact grades that we think our cards deserve, more often than not, people are going to become upset. So, not to be too much of a pessimist here, but I know the way this hobby works, and I know as a collector how I operate, and there inevitably will come that time when the computer doesn't give me the grade that I think my card deserves. And then I'm going to be pissed at the computer the same way I'm pissed at humans.
Yeah, but you can't blame the computer for having a bad Monday. Whereas that's everyone's favorite.
No, you'll blame it on something else. The scan must have had a speck of dust.
Yeah, or the system's glitched, and then it's not.
Right.
To me, it's not just it's one person. It's a human error.
Yeah.
It becomes the entire system is fucked because I didn't get my 10s. And I think that is more dangerous for a company's reputation to say, oh, it's the computer, than to say it's human error.
Yeah. So, go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, my other take on this whole thing, I don't know if I gave it on Clubhouse, but I said it to you on DMs, was that the reason that I'm so drawn to PSA, and, obviously you went over the bias thing, so people are aware of that. But the reason I was drawn to PSA even before all this was that they sort of aligned with me and how I think of cards in condition as a collector better than anybody else. And the more we get close to computerizing the grading, the less interested I am, because a computer is going to tell me, oh, your card has 17 flaws. And I'm like, yeah, but it looks really nice to me. And my bar of do I want this card being Gem Mint PSA 9 is the eye appeal. Do I want this in my collection? Do I feel good about owning it? Is it good enough for me to enjoy owning the card in its current condition? And I always thought PSA did a nice job of translating that into their grades by being yeah, of course, a PSA 10, some are more pristine than others, but it's a 10 and you can enjoy it. You can feel confident that there's not a fucking dinged corner. It doesn't have a scratch on it. You as a collector will enjoy this 10. And I just always thought that was just a really neat way to do it. And BGS added the subgrades. You're just telling me more and more what's wrong with my card. You think the centering sucks. If you get into these scales of computerizing grades, it's it's a 940. So there's 60 things wrong with my card. Dang. It just kind of brings me down as a collector thinking that there's something wrong with it. And the computer's going to find way more things than a human whose primary goal, PSA, even on their site, is eye appeal. It's you're translating it for the collector. It's the collector that's going to buy this card. That's my rant. I get that people might not agree. That's just the way that I think about collecting is grading for me gives me confidence that it's going to make me happy when I own it,
100%, dude. And, once again, I definitely root for hobby friends to succeed. And so, for example, Jeremy Lee is doing a 5-part series on these guys. When Jeremy puts that level of endorsement behind something, it means something. And same thing with some other friends who have spoken very highly of this company and the people. So look, I root for those people, my friends, and any hobby company that starts off in this hobby, and I think the three of us know a little something about this, you're going to get a little bit of criticism when you start. And you're going to have some pretty animated people coming at you.
We didn't get criticized, did we? We didn't get any.
No.
I don't remember.
Yeah, no.
No.
Yeah, no.
And
I blocked that from my memory.
and then here's what you have to look forward to. If you have some staying power and you start to carve out some market share for yourself, you're going to get even more people who hate you, and they're going to get even more people who speak out even more loudly against you. That's just the price of running a business in this hobby. And so if you're sick in the head like myself and actually enjoy that on some weird level, then you're going to have a great time. You're going to have a great time in this hobby. But just, that's just like a little, take that however. I would take that as a piece of encouragement to say, look, people, if you're making people feel a certain way, then you're already doing something right.
If they're not attacking you, you're doing something wrong.
There you go. All right.
I like the look of the slabs too. I thought they were very clean design. Some of the things they're talking about with like explaining why you got the grade. People have heard me say I've always wanted PSA to do that. Like, give me a report, especially on a really high-end card. Give me a report of what was wrong with it. Why didn't I get the 10? I thought especially when you were talking about like, I thought I was going to get a 10 and I got an 8. At least tell me why. Like, oh, you missed this. There was a scratch here, and it's like, oh, you're right. I did miss that. Or at least tell me why. I'm just sitting here like racking my brain of why I got the 8. So that would be nice.
Yep, definitely. And, the one thing I thought Steve Cass said in his interview that was, well, one of the things that stood out to me a lot, I should say, is he said he's certainly not trying to take market share from PSA or BGS. He says those guys have cornered their markets. They are the industry leaders, and and SGC, and he's like, these guys, we're not coming for their customers. We don't want them. We're trying to serve a different group of customer. A customer like Steve himself, who has 400,000 cards that he's never graded before, and that he wants to use his service for people like himself who have giant collections and never wanted, or he's trying to reach out to new people who, for whatever reason, the current grading system is not for them. He's trying to make a grading alternative available to people like himself who never wanted to grade before, but now they do. So, hats off to him for that too, for being that realistic, because I don't think many PSA, BGS, and SGC loyalists are going to change loyalties anytime soon.
Yeah, the issue with that is going to become where if you as an individual have a bunch of cards and you're willing to take that leap of faith and grade with a new grading company, the only thing you're going to be concerned with is how does this increase the resale value of my cards? And so if that doesn't work immediately, it's another uphill battle and it's going to be tough.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's move on. Mike Pinkerton 50 says, would you rather have been born in a different era of the hobby, such as the 1950s?
Born? Like the year I was born?
Yeah, so I took that to mean people like yourself, me, we grew up in the 90s. That's the era of cards that we kind of grew up with, right? So.
No, I like who I am. I like being Michael Scott. I don't want to be someone else.
Exactly. Yeah. No. I am so glad. I guess I couldn't really imagine it any other way. But yeah.
Yeah. South Park. Zane said. It's I don't know that It's like the known quantity of what we were born into is good enough for me.
Yeah. Plus, the 90s was just, to me, an amazing decade of cards.
Especially as a kid.
Yes.
And having like the unknown of like the rarity of that 90s stuff as a kid, not knowing where it is, and the green PMGs and the sort of the mystery and allure of it all. That's pretty great.
Totally. All right. Frosty Holds says, what saved eBay search do you look at first? Usually I look at my most recent saved search first.
I use the eBay feed thing. It just gives them to me all mixed together.
But do you go to any one in particular first? No?
Do you?
Yeah. The ones I look at first are oh, fuck it, who cares? One of mine is Prism Black 1 of 1. So I always look at that one first to see which cards of which players have shown up on eBay. I always look at that one first. And then, because, if I look at that one 30 seconds later, I might miss something, so.
Right. True.
And then, and I just kind of cycle through my players from there. And the one that I look at first right now is Christian McCaffrey. So then I go to all my Christian McCaffrey saves, and then from there it's like Jordan and some other stuff.
Does the feed not just aggregate all them for you?
It does, but you can change, the order that they are sorted in, right? Like when you go on your eBay app and you click saved, and then there's all your saved searches, and there's a little blue dot next to the ones that have new cards. And then, I have like 150 in there, so I have to pick one to start with.
No, but the third tab on the right, it says feed. You click on that, and it's literally all the cards. You just scroll through them infinitely. You don't click anything. You just look at every card.
Do you have that on your app?
I don't have any saved searches. I just type in Maxi Kleba newly listed every single time and just look at every single card that's been listed, because it's usually like 5 cards a day. But I check like 15 times a day trying to find 2 fucking Prism cards from 2020.
Try the feed thing later, see if I'm crazy.
Yeah, no, I will. I'll feel like such an idiot if I've been missing out on this sweet feature.
I've always thought, though, that the feed, misses, 1 or 2 cards, and you know how that goes. If you miss 1 or 2, you're like, fuck this.
I agree. Okay, South says, is there any reason why you don't use sleeves on your slabs?
No reason. Not a monster. This guy uses 7 sleeves and, cases and boxes and...
Look, I don't want to...
You got 7.
I don't want to pierce the illusion here, but this is what my cards normally look like. All right? My cards are normally in this, which is called the Card Case Pro, a.k.a. the leather Gucci bag of the hobby. And then inside of that, it's stored in a slab guard, a company that's been made for many years by my good friend MJ23 Collector PH. And, I've been a supporter of his business for a long time. So this protects the card, and then this helps the card display. And then Christina and my's collection is really it's just piles of our cards like that. I even did the I just put them into the 2-row boxes to create a vibe. That's why
I love the vibe, by the way. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about these videos. The vibe is incredible. It's just a little old school vibe, and it kind of gives you this mystery, which I told you I liked about it the most, was the mystery of what's the next card he's going to show, and the illusion of he's got infinite. It goes back all the way. There could be more he's not showing us. It's very interesting.
And by the way, these don't even live with us. These live in a safety deposit box. So, yeah, I went and I got the cards and I showed them off in a very specific, nostalgic way. But, yeah, I mean, if I actually stored my cards in a 2-row box like a heathen, I would definitely have them in sleeves. No doubt about it. That's just a joke, by the way. We actually do have so many cards in boxes. Yeah, I'm showing it. Oops. Turn off my camera.
Oh, my God.
We definitely have lots of cards and binders and 2-row boxes. Please don't be offended. That was just a joke. Just a joke. But
I open a lot of products, Josh.
Yes. So
I'm not judging. I'm just a guy that's sitting here judging in my own brain.
Yeah, so look, I encourage any and all, especially if you have cards that you love, to make these videos and like challenge yourself not to make it longer than a minute and pick a cool song. And just, dude, if you're doing the 2-row reveal thing, I didn't make that up. I saw other collectors doing that, where they just like go through like a row of their cards in their 2-row or in their Pelican case or whatever. And I just thought it looked really cool. And so I just said, this has to be less than a minute and just have fun and pick a cool song. And you can do it in 15 minutes, Well, for me, it took a little bit longer because I had to take all the cards out of their bags and then put them all back in. But it's fun. It's a really cool way to show off your collection.
I have much more content to go. Buckle in. I got some rants we'll break off into branches off this conversation. All right, so the first one is that a lot of people I noticed were like, I don't know, you, basically implying like they didn't know you had all this stuff, or like that this collection was much better than what they thought you had. And I was thinking like, one, that's incredibly offensive. Because this dude's been putting in work for years, like fucking recognized game. Next is, I think people maybe think that because there's this notion in the hobby that, and it's probably a lot of reality, and this is what I talked about with Brett, is that, influencers / content creators / public-facing figures in the hobby don't actually have cards that they collect. They just move through them, they flip them, they talk about them. Do we even know what some of these influencers have as cards? Do they even collect? Do you even collect, bro? So that's why I was just like, fuck yes, Chris. Show these cards. Show these people that influencers can have cards too. They can have niche collections. They can have focused things that they go after. They don't have to freaking, buy Marvel when it's hot. They don't have to just buy the latest, greatest thing. They focus. Talk about that.
Oh, yeah. Well, great points. And, yeah, dude, like once in a while, the collector community could use a refresher on all of our collective PCs. That's one thing that I love about Showcase, is that it's a great way to show off your collection. But there's really nothing that rivals just a nice little video. Whether it's a 2-row reveal or you just make a big wall on your floor and you just kind of hover over it with a camera or something. Yeah, dude, like it's, if we're not collecting cards, what the hell are we doing? That's just kind of what I come back to here, is like, what are we doing here? That collection, by the way, of Christina and mine has been built over 6 years. I mean,
yeah,
there was periods of time where, dude, that collection was like 50 Michael Jordan inserts, that were like graded somewhere between like BJS 7 and PSA 9s. Like that collection has evolved over time. It's been consolidated multiple times. And
I was gonna say, like, in response to Josh's, like, oh, I didn't know, like, people are saying, like, I didn't know that you had that. Like, where have you been, bro? Like, dude, where have you been? Like, we've been tracking our journey, like, our collector's journey since 2018 with House of Jordan's podcasts. And, like, Chris has been on Cardboard Chronicles a couple times. Like, he's been on all the podcasts talking about his PC. And it's like, dude, like, what do you mean? Like, because we've been showing off, like, side PCs for so long, you guys forgot, like, what brought us here in the first place? Like, yeah. Come on, put some respect on my motherfucking name.
I mean, like, you guys are, I'm the same way. We're pretty, like, humble about not showing our cards every other post and every story. So, like, there's some balance to the humility I would hope that we carry, as people in the hobby. So, I mean, Probably some of that, but yeah, that's why I said it when I brought it up. I was like, that's offensive, bro. Come on. You think I'm just fucking you think I just got here by accident? I got some shit.
Yeah. And it's also funny because I can think of like a few people that like just post the same cards over and over again, like of like their big boy PC cards, and it's like I understand that they overshare those like those 4 cards, or you know, those top cards that they remind you they have every year, and maybe put that.
Okay, fucking, you've made your point.
And then, but like, take some time, like when you're a new follower to an account, take some time to scroll back. Don't just look at the last one post. Like, look at the cards that people have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Card Insights too said that you guys hung on to a lot of stuff. And I think that's also a little bit of the heart of this, is that based on the content that's seen on the internet and what people assume of the hobby, they just kind of assume that people move through stuff. Mm-hmm. And the 3 of us, I'm proud to say, like, we've got stuff that's been in our collection for a really long time, and we've just held it through everything. Like, we just haven't sold it.
Yeah.
So there's some of that going on too.
Oh, for sure.
Total. There you
Yeah.
go.
And then, all right, so here's the flip side of that coin too, though. Like, dude, it doesn't, like, whether a person has one card that they love, or they have a PC that they've built over half a decade or 20 years or 40 years or whatever, you know, that all those people are equally good collectors, as long as they love the hobby, you know, and that they're contributing to the hobby in a meaningful way, right? Like, it wouldn't matter if we owned one card or if we own 100 or however many we own. That's just really not the measure of a collector. The measure of a collector is what's their mindset, what's their intent. Are they enjoying this hobby? Are they giving back to it as much as they take from it? You know, things like that. So that's like the flip side of the coin of this discussion. It's idealistic. It's not reality. But,
yeah,
you know, a person, especially like a content creator in the hobby, they should just be measured by what they say. You know, what do you say? How does it resonate with people? What is it teaching us, or what is it telling us? And then, you know, hopefully their collecting behaviors match up with what they're saying, you know, hopefully they do. But, you know, we've been very lucky and stupid to just buy cards and never sell them and just keep adding more.
Yeah. Well, I made this rant on Brett's show, and I've been kind of carrying this theme a little bit myself, where I don't have any issue with people who choose to do the flip game. You know, I've seen the YouTube content. I know what it is. I've seen a lot of the content creators who choose the path of the flipping game. I have no problem with it. You know, it is what it is. I think it's entertaining. You know, those individuals get joy from it. People obviously like to watch it. There's a lot of value for that for certain people. My whole thing is that, like, I don't think there's near enough representation of it on the other end of the collector. And so I'm going to get pretty fucking feisty about it, because I just feel like, you know, it's almost like the, you know, like the peacock. Like, I'm here. We've got stuff too. Collectors have a lot to say. We've got a lot of opinions. And if you want to learn more about it, you're going to get this, you're going to get the raw take of it from us. And that's just the way it is. And if you like the collector stuff and you think it's interesting and you connect to it, you know, watch our stuff, follow our journey, look at our cards, do the same thing for yourself. Hopefully you learn a thing or two and you get some fun out of it, you know, at the end. Hopefully it's fun for you, and that's where we're at with it, you know? Like, we're not trying to shit on other people. We're just trying to be very loud and boisterous about our way of doing it because we feel strongly about it.
Absolutely. There are a few people I try to shit on, but
no, of course.
Yeah. So just one asterisk there. Also, dude, here, I love your fucking point there. Let me break it down in a slightly different way. Okay, let's say there's 2 lanes of content. You have content that's focused on profit, and so, like, the happiness and the excitement and the dopamine rush from participating in that content, we learn to become happy when the profit is made. So like that's the experience that keeps us coming back to the hobby, is the profit. And then there's another type of content that the dopamine rush of that content is everything else. It's the connection to sports. It's satisfying the psychological collector urge that we have. It's community, it's network, it's content creation. It's all these things that we've talked about at length that we don't need to rehash here. I get so bored making the same fucking point over and over again on shows. But yes, so where do you want your dopamine rush to come from? Because it's the same dopamine rush. Do you want the happiness to come from the properties of being a collector? Do you want to learn how to participate in this hobby and train your mind in such a way that you're going to get happy and excited when you see your friend get a great mail day or complete a set or land a Grail card that they've been chasing for a long time? Or do you want to train your brain to become happy and get a dopamine rush when you flip a card and you double your money? Because guess what? From the point of view of the hobby, the better dopamine rush that we can train our brains to have, and the one that's going to serve the long-term stability of our industry, is teaching people to get their happiness from the joys of being a collector. And that's not to say there's anything wrong with the joys of making money too, because that is great. And there is a place for that even in collector content. But if we're teaching our audiences that the thing about sports cards that brings joy is just flipping them to make money, then we are seriously disserving them and not teaching them about the real joys of this hobby, which are all of those properties of being a collector that we've talked about many times.
Yeah, because you can flip and make money anywhere. You could apply that logic to any industry. So I would prefer that if you're going to make content about the industry I'm involved in, you actually learn the fundamentals of it and why it is valuable, why it is popular, why we're here. It's not because of the flipping, because you can do that anywhere. The thing that differentiates is the collecting and the cards, the people in it, right? That's the differentiator, not the flipping.
Totally.
Yeah. Hey, amazing game by, Tatum or Brown or Smart or Curry, for sale.
Yeah. I saw a really funny post by Cardboard Preacher, and it was talking about this, he owns a second-year Prism Black Curry. The black, remember, that's Giannis's rookie year. So it has two blacks. It has the black mosaic, and it has the true black. And he has the black mosaic, which I think is a beautiful card. And I'm just seeing here if I can find his story, because it was so funny. Oh, I think it already lapsed. Okay, so what the story was saying was he was posting, and before the game last night, game one, he was like, oh, this is so awesome, having this high-end six-figure card before a finals game. This is just the ultimate rush. I just love being a part of this. This is what makes the hobby so great. This is amazing. And then after the game, he's like, yeah, actually, this is very nerve-wracking. This is very stressful. One game can change my entire mood and outlook. And owning this card is causing me swings of emotion that are just very strong and crazy. And it's so true. It's and it's not for everybody, but yeah, dude, this guy owns a six-figure Steph Curry card. Not exactly a prospect. The value of this card is going to fluctuate that much no matter what happens in these playoffs, most likely. And he's still that's a fucking sweat that he's experiencing. And some people love it. Some people hate it. I don't know which way he's going to fall on it, but I relate to that so much. That's one of the things I love about the hobby. That's also why I'm so glad that honestly, I was so relieved that all my active players are not playing right now, so I can just relax a little bit and just enjoy the sport a little bit.
You've been chasing that way harder than I have. I've been avoiding it a little bit. I'm the guy that's yeah, he's in the finals, but I don't give a shit. His legacy's already set. I don't care what happens. Yep. I'm the guy telling myself that, even though deep down I'm like, come on, please win.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's what's so nice about the sports card sweat as well, is that look, there's hope springs eternal in most situations. I mean, you can have an Andrew Luck situation. You can have unfortunate turns of it, but in most scenarios, no matter what happens this year, there's always hope next year. Just the same way sports fandom works. the same exact way that I'm a Chicago Bears fan, and I will somehow convince myself that the Bears have a shot at the Super Bowl this year. And it's just
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields. It's just new coach.
I heard a podcast where they picked the Bears to finish last in the NFL, and I was like, oof. Hey, Chris, meat water.
Yeah. Well, that means that the Panthers can't be last. So.
Yeah, I meant Chris, meat cold water.
Okay. Yeah, dude. Okay, so.
Let's move on, dude.
Yeah. All right. Publius13 says, "Who should be worth the most in Star Wars?" Serious question.
Dude, I don't know shit about Star Wars. I actually don't like Star Wars, so.
That's the Deep Trek 9.
Yeah.
Does Christine like Star Wars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Okay, so honest, serious question, honest, serious answer. Due to the hobby being mostly men, you would think it would be Princess Leia. Especially if there's a gold bikini card. I'm gonna be honest. Everyone has seen that Friends episode.
Yep.
But yeah, C3PO. It's C3PO.
You can just relax.
E3O.
He has an error card that he looks very excited about having his own sports car.
Whoa.
So
Hello.
that is a pretty famous card.
Holy shit.
It isn't card letter.
Okay, Bud, there you go. That's a famous card. If I'm just looking at the characters themselves, I would say that Han Solo should have the best card.
Okay, so Christina, after lots of exposition, says Han Solo.
What about Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader?
So, it depends. Okay, so this is the whole thing. It depends, what age you were when you watched Star Wars for the first time that you relate to different characters. And
got it.
But Han Solo is considered the hero, the bad boy hero, whereas Luke Skywalker is considered the good guy hero, even though he kisses his twin sister. And then Darth Vader is the bad dad who didn't even know that he had a daughter, and he met her multiple times. But he knew exactly who Luke Skywalker was immediately. So, I would say Han Solo.
Han Solo's Harrison Ford, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Well, I went to Disneyland, and they had a Star Wars section, so I know everything about Star Wars now, so you guys can just, relax here. I'll take over. I know everything about Star Wars.
Go ahead.
All right, I think that's...
No, I don't know shit about Star Wars.
Are we good on the Star Wars talk here? I'm good.
I don't know. Ask Card Shop Dad. He's the one who asked.
No, he didn't.
Star Wars?
Publius 13.
The Star Wars rides at Disneyland are amazing.
Dude, my interest level when the topic of Star Wars comes up, just it's like a plane crashing.
Dude, me too.
Crashes, you idiot.
I hate it.
It's like a hovercraft going down.
It's a helicopter landing. That's my Star Wars. Ooh, and I need to stay away.
Star Wars? You're the opposite of C-3PO when we talk about Star Wars.
That's right. That's right. That card is nicknamed the Golden Rod. All right.
Oh my god, I can't believe that's real.
That's very, very real. And the PSA 10 is like a $20,000 card.
Oh my god, the PSA 10 is I can't think of any jokes about that. Go on.
It's on the rise.
Yeah, Jesus.
Card Shop Dad says, what is the next realistic grail that you want to go after? Well, funny you should mention. I mean, I just got this card in my mind. The C3PO Golden Rod is a grail, I think. What do you have for your next realistic grail that you might want to go after?
Well, I ain't telling you shit.
Yep.
Good answer.
Dude, I'm not playing. I saw someone, one of the questions was like, oh, I heard Josh reference that he has a list of cards he's going after. Can you share that list? Are you crazy?
Here's that question.
Sure. Why don't I just give you my social security number while we're at it? You guys want my login to all my computers and my Google Notes and stuff? Well, thank you.
All right, that question is from Dillick Cards, a great question asker over many months, probably years now. And yeah, he says, Josh, you mentioned last week that you have a list of LeBron grails that you hope to obtain. When you show your limited logos for last week's mail day, would you mind sharing that list?
I do mind. Well, I mean, come on, figure it out. LeBron Golds and Exquisites. It's, that's the list. Ones I don't already have. I don't like duplicates.
There you go. All right. JGP Collectibles says, are people in this hobby petty enough to take losses on their own cards in order to sabotage another collector's or investor's position on a specific card?
I don't know that you can really I don't know that you can affect the market that much as an individual selling your cards. Isn't that the answer?
Yeah.
Or am I missing something?
My answer is just any sentence, any question that begins with, are people in the hobby petty enough to ... question?
Yes.
The answer is yes.
That's like when Dwight asks you, will you form an alliance? You always say, absolutely, I would.
Nice.
Or if Michael gives you a hypothetical situation, you always say, of course.
Nice. Fucking office wisdom. All right. Card Shop Dad also says, build your dream card. It can be a gold, it can be an RPA, it can be a hollow foil, it can be jersey numbered, it can be a game used patch. What is your ideal card? Your dream card?
Well, I mean, I really want to just say cards that already exist. I saw your answer. Go give your answer. Yours is more clever than me.
My answer is a 1984 Prism Black 1/1 Michael Jordan rookie.
Of course it is, you simp.
Yeah, that's a Prism.
What? Why is it?
Wait, hey, now that we're here, why don't you go ahead and share the results?
I don't even know what you're talking about right now.
Why don't you just go ahead and share the results of that poll there, guy? Because it was 80-20 when I looked.
I ran a poll that most collectors must not have seen.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, here we go. Oh, man. So this is the excuse for why the computer got your grade wrong. Oh, the computer systems failed. Oh, blah, blah, blah.
The algorithm was hiding my story, and it fell into the wrong hands. I said, which brand do you prefer, Topps Chrome or Prism? And the results were 80-20 in favor of Topps Chrome. Let's see right now.
Oh, I feel so vindicated today.
It's currently 82-18.
It's currently 82-18. And then Slab Stocks ran the same poll as well. And let's just see how theirs turned out.
I don't know if they ran the poll or if they just posted yours.
No, they ran it. But I can't see it from the computer.
Hold on. Let me go to it then.
Let's see what theirs says.
I finally have my revenge for the Mavs destroying the Suns. Finally.
We will teach these.
73-27 Topps Chrome.
73-27. Don't.
And might I add that I feel like the following of Slab Stocks leans pretty heavily towards the younger crowd of Prism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so look, that just means I have my work ahead of me to teach some culture.
Oh my god, dude. Here comes a week of stories about Prism being better than Chrome. There's no data for this, guy.
Let me throw some salt on Josh's take right there, because baseball collectors hate Prism because it's unlicensed. Mm-hmm. So baseball collectors will always choose Topps Chrome in this scenario.
Yeah. Stupid baseball.
Well, up here, fix your questions, bro. You asked questions the wrong way. You can't even.
No, I thought about that before I asked, and I said, no, I'm not going to try and
basketball.
I'm not going to pre-rig this poll and say only basketball and football. No, it's really simple. Which brand do you like better? Because even if you are a baseball collector, it's a slightly different question to say which brand do you like better, because you could imagine a world where Prism makes licensed baseball. Do you like the brand or not is the question. So.
Yeah, but also, isn't baseball more of the Bowman Chrome than Topps Chrome? Like, I feel like baseball people, the purists, are more Bowman Chrome.
Yeah, that's probably, I don't know. I know Topps Chrome is a big deal in baseball, but Bowman Chrome might be.
Topps Chrome is just an older brand. I'm not surprised by the result. It's an older brand. It's got more history. It's like, you like Coke or, some new stupid Mountain Dew something.
Yep, my work.
Prism is Mountain Dew and Topps Chrome is Coke. Deal with that.
Prism is Mountain Dew and Topps Chrome is Coke. I'm fine with that.
You just like the rush of the energy of the Mountain Dew. You like the green slime and you guys are just like flying around saying crazy stuff.
Mountain Dew has like all those parallels too, right? You got like their Code Red.
Yeah.
So I'll take that. I'm fine with that. All right. KCS Sports Card says, when will we see the first 8-figure sale between Honus and Mickey Mantle and some of the 101s and the logo men that are out there? There's probably a dozen or so candidates at least. And it seems that death and divorce may be the only reason that these cards would ever come to the market. I'm sure Ken G is searching for sellers to dovetail into his Netflix series. What do you think? When will we see an 8-figure sale register?
I think the 52 Mantle PSA 10 is going to be the first one.
Yeah? You saying some of those guys who hold it are pretty old?
Aren't there 3 of them? 3 copies?
Yes. Yeah, I think that's right.
I just like my odds there better than I do like one of the high grade Wagners or like the 101 LeBron rookies or something. Or I don't know what else is even possible. Are there any other cards we're missing that's possible?
Oh, yeah. The LeBron Ultimate.
Yep, I said that one.
Okay.
There's 2 of those.
There's 2 of those, the vertical or the horizontal. If
Yep.
Carvin's listening right now, he'll be happy that we talk about both. Oh boy. Shine has that triple logo man PSA 10.
Yep.
I think that might be pushing the that's probably an 8-figure land. I could probably just go to Shine.
I just have a hard
and see if
It's hard to like pick out the cards where we know the owner and we're like, that dude's not selling.
Yeah, exactly.
I just don't know. I don't know the owners of the PSA 10 Mantles. That one's incredible. Jeez, man.
Yeah, so now, okay, so look, so this is a 2004 Upper Deck Exquisite, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, All NBA Access Pass, triple logo man 1 of 1, and it's a PSA 10. In Shine's caption, he says, this is the first year that Upper Deck Exquisite produced the ultra rare 1 of 1 All NBA Access Pass triple logo man set. This card, being the most sought after of them all and one of the most important modern day cards of all time, is now the first ever PSA 10 of any exquisite logo man. So,
I mean, someone asked a question. I think someone asked a question this week of like, or maybe I'm wrong, would you trade your whole collection for one card? Did that come up?
I posed that question myself because these simpletons in our audience were disappointing me at that time.
And I was kind of like, man, that card right there is pretty tempting. That's a sweet card.
Yeah, well, I was actually, the reason why that topic came up, actually, I don't know why I just felt the need to slight our audience. The reason why that topic...
You love making fun of everybody.
Yeah. I was talking to Jordan on Clubhouse last night, and Jordan mentioned that he was thinking about consolidating his entire collection to get one card. And he was like, would you do that? What do you think? Like, if you could consolidate your collection to get one card, like, is there a card out there that you would do it for? And so that kind of kicked off the discussion. And then that's why I posed the question in my story of like, how often, not do you do it, but how often do you think about doing it? Mm-hmm. And it was like all the time, occasionally, rarely, or never. And the nevers were like 20%. So, and like, I'm surprised. That 20% feels low. I think there's a lot of people out there who are like, are you kidding me? I would never trade in, this collection that I've curated over however many years Good point, C. Keats. If over however many years, I wouldn't trade that in. And so, I was surprised for so few. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like thinking about it is different than actually doing it.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. Plus, like, it gets to a point where there's so many moving parts that
Yeah.
it's just like, man, it'd be a lot of work.
Plus, like, people that watch Golden auctions would be like, oh my God, that's Chris's entire collection.
Yes. Yep. Exactly right.
I've always been really terrified of that situation where the community, like, oh my God, that's all of your cards. What is happening? What is this? I just get very nervous about that thought.
Yeah. All right. Let's go on to another one here. Oh, this question had a really weird poll result. Carrot Top Card said, do you consider smoothing or fixing a card's edge or corner before grading it to be altering the card? And note, I am not talking about trimming.
I mean, like, with your finger? Like, you're just sort of, like, moving stuff? I'm not sure exactly what this means. This feels weird.
Yeah. Dude, to me, if it's even a question, don't do it. I think
Yeah.
the rule of thumb here. So, yeah.
I think it's like,
Yep.
if it's like, like there's a speck on your card that you can just wipe off. That's about the extent of it. Or like a hair that's on your card, you just, get rid of it. Like past that. Corners, what can you even do? Like, I just guess I'll just play naive and be like, what can you actually do that's not altering to a corner? Like, lift it up? I don't know what you can do to make it look better. It seems weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Just leave.
Damage is damage is damage.
Yep. Okay, what about some of the more common examples that are given, like a fingerprint or a smudge that you can remove using a microfiber cloth?
Yeah, do that. Of course, I do that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's like I just don't add any foreign substance when I'm doing the microfiber.
Yep. Yeah. Sounds
The wax. I've seen the wax thing come up. Do not do that. Please do it to your slabs. I've had really nice success with making my slabs look nicer. But please don't do that to the actual card. That seems silly to me, to wax a card. You're adding like a substance to it.
Yep. That's about right. Okay. I don't have much more to say on that, do you?
No.
Okay. So as usual, Drake writes in with sharp questions. And this one is no different. Drake's PC says, from an observation standpoint only, not should you buy the card or do you like the card, but what card or cards have gone down in price that have surprised you the most? And similarly, what ones have held up over the recent past that have surprised you?
Mm.
And then he goes on to say, for him, the LeBron Topps Chrome PSA 10 has dipped 37% over the last 6 months from 11,000 to 7,000. That surprised him that it's going down. And then for a card that has held relatively steady, the 2011 Topps Update PSA 10 Mike Trout has surprised him. It's actually up 4% over the last 6 months. He says LeBron was obviously artificially inflated, but I'm a bit surprised that the Trout, even though it has 3 times the population of LeBron, has held up over the last 6 months, even though it's down 28% over last year. So what do you think? What has surprised you and what has, in both directions? Anything that's gone down that you think, wow, I can't believe that went down, and stuff that's held up?
I'm pretty surprised the Jordan Fleer PSA 10 is still hovering at 250. That one, that one's held pretty strong at 250.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably it came off of a massive correction, so maybe people just settled it there. But I just thought that was going to keep going down. Surprised that it's gone down and I thought it shouldn't have gone down. I don't know. I don't really have a good answer for that one. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say anything.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll say that it surprises me a little bit that vintage baseball is completely bucking the trend of the other categories and is surging, not holding steady, fucking skyrocketing. So, I'll just find a couple examples here from the card letter headlines that I can show you guys. So, let's see. Here's a good example. The 1934 Gaudi Blue Gehrig PSA 8. Classic card. I don't know. What am I doing? I'm trying to talk about this card intelligently, and I don't know that much about it. But what I do know about is reading charts.
Holy shit.
And over the last year, okay, so this card in last July was $75,000. And then 2 weeks ago, it sold with Memory Lane for about $150,000. So this card has doubled over last year.
And it's not like it's a pop 1.
No, it's a pop 35. And there are 4 9s that are higher. Then, wow, that's really weird.
Look at that grade ratio value. That's money right there.
Well, yeah, something's not working right here because the sale of this card is from 2004 when it sold for $44,000. So, yeah, maybe the problem here is that the index doesn't have there's something not working right here. Yeah, the index actually doesn't go back. The index only goes back to May of 2005. But this card sold in November 2004. So we
found the limits of this thing.
Yeah, because there's no way. Yeah, the graded ratio value is 717,000 is right. The index-based value, we've found a glitch.
That's crazy. That there's 4 and that card hasn't sold since 2004. Dude, some of these vintage baseball collectors are almost like. They're like a representation of what we bitch about so much about, like, why aren't there more collectors? Those people are collectors, and they're silent about it, and they just keep doing their thing.
I love those guys, man. Those guys, these guys, there's 4 of these out in the wild, and one hasn't sold in 18 years.
I have respect for that, big time.
Yeah, I love that. This is...
That's what the hobby is. That's the backbone of the hobby right there.
I agree.
That's great. Sorry.
Like, we don't talk about vintage baseball because we don't know anything about it, but tip of the cap or whatever is like the thing you do when you pay respect to the people before you. Vintage baseball that's like the OG of the hobby.
Yeah, and let me not just talk about 6-figure cards. Here's another one from the card letter headlines. Man, that's like a 2020 looking chart. It's the 1979 Topps Lou Brock, number 665. This card sold May 22nd for about $1,100. The prior sale was a little over 2 years ago for $450. So the card went up by between 2 and 3x over the last 2 years.
Damn.
Dude, just 1979 Topps baseball, man. Like, stuff of this, stuff that's like this, 70s baseball, 60s baseball, on and on. That stuff is doing super well. That Lou Brock is a pop 16. So it surprises me that there are big chunks of this hobby that are bucking the trend we're seeing in ultra-modern basketball and stuff like that.
What about the other way? Do you have any that surprise you of just maybe how quickly they're going down, or I don't know?
Okay, so the key word here is that surprise me, because there are some that don't surprise me, right? There's certainly some cards that have just, fallen off value-wise that don't surprise me. But one that did surprise me was like this card. And I know you don't love this card, but the 03 Bowman Chrome Gold LeBron PSA 10 It sold for almost 400 grand last October, and then it sold for 200 in May. And it's a pop 9. You know, to me, I mean, I loved owning that card, and I'm not quite sure why it would take such a drastic step back. So that's one of the markets that surprises me. Surprises me that Luca's cards are going down, to be frank. Not that I'm complaining, because we just picked up 2 of our most prized Luca collections as that market's been going down. But what more does this guy need to show to demonstrate that he's going to be a pretty collectible player? So he's another one that surprises me. Yeah, there's 2 for you. All right, Show Busy Living says color match is huge, but what other colors are desirable? Gold, yes, but what else?
None. Gold, silver match. Done. I'm the curmudgeon.
Yeah, I would expand that to say low numbered parallels, like Optic Green out of 5 or something like that. I like those because they're so rare. So like if it's a color that's super duper short printed, I like that.
Nope. Fast break, optic, prism, bubbly blue out of 5.
Dude, I like those. I wouldn't go out of my way to get one, but
isn't the like prism fast break green Luca out of 5 or something?
Yeah, the neon green and fast break is out of 5.
That's kind of a dope card. I'm not mad at that card. This is also out of 5. This is the 2017 Prism Fast Break Green Jason Tatum.
Yeah, but that one's only dope because it's a color match.
True.
Yeah, so the blue, I believe the blue is 125 or 175 from Fast Break.
Yeah.
So that would be like the Luca would match to the blue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
like the Luca green out of 5. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I think it's pretty cool. All right. Diggs Cardboard says, my stories are about 90% people with for sale posts saying that they really need to sell. What are your thoughts? And then he followed up with, okay, maybe not 90%, but it's noticeable how many people are selling.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when the market's going down, people maybe feel nervous that they need more cash to go through some sort of recession or whatever. It's not that surprising. It's just what happens.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's more? I have an I have an oddly curated list of people that I follow, but I don't feel that there are any more than usual people selling in my timeline.
I follow a lot of people that I feel would potentially be in the category of like selling more now than they normally would, and I'm not seeing that.
Okay.
I'm seeing a normal amount of selling. I mean, to be honest with you, dude, I saw more selling when things were peaking of people just being excited to like flip through more stuff and flip more and keep going, whereas now it's like people are less likely to sell because they know they're going to not make as much money and it's not moving as quickly, so they're not as excited to sell. But you could kind of like make it up either way depending on how you feel about it.
Yep.
I mean, dude, I have a question. I have a follow-up though.
Mm-hmm.
What sort of activity are you seeing volume-wise, on a night-to-night basis now relative to like say a year ago? Are you seeing the same sort of activity?
Well, it is funny that you asked that because I was looking at this last night. So here is the Card Ladder daily sales volume dashboard for 1 year, and
I mean,
the trend line is kind of like this. It's pretty flat. It's pretty flat. Now, granted, we do add more cards every day, so that you have to keep that in mind. That's going to impact the volume theoretically, but let me just kind of explain why this works really weird, and I'm not quite sure why. the very first day of card ladder sales that are tracked on our sales volume dashboard was June 23rd, 2020. We had 500 cards. The sales volume on that day was $867,000. So we've gone from 500 to almost 30,000, and the sales volume figures just have always hovered in that area. But look, let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, so this is the last 2 years. All right, and now you can see a trend. You can see, here's the August 2020 peak. Here's the fall of 2020 dip. Here's the insanity in early 2021. Here's the, the retraction, and then stability over the last year. Pretty freaking
right.
So
I run reports on our sales history, which is like literally all sales, and it doesn't have any bias about which cards we choose. It looks the same every month to me. Like there's always a ton of sales. There's always like, I think I ran it and it was like 2 million sales per month, and the dollar amount, I don't remember the dollar amount, but it was like, I think the average card was like $100. So 2 million times 10 or 100, so 200 million in sales. It just always was very consistent, month to month, even now.
Yep, so that matches what I see as well. And every day there's all-time highs being set in different categories. Like right now, 70s baseball and vintage baseball are the ones doing it. But it seems like every category of this hobby has had its turn over the last 2 years or so. All right.
It just strikes me as a
question.
Go ahead, Josh.
Oh, I was just gonna say that it strikes me that the hobby is expanding and moving into different segments and sectors, but the overall activity level and interest is about the same over the last year.
Yeah. Well, here's some fun stuff to look at. I did some story posts about this, and it got not a lot of traction, but I won't let that stop me from striking out twice. So
No, you will not.
No, I will not. So is this what or maybe it was collecting. So using Google Trends, I was looking at like the last 5 years of stuff, inspired by Sham Cards Substack, which is really cool. So like here's a search term, right? Like the search term is sports card collector, and the Google trend over the last 5 years is like, I don't know. It's never really been much higher than where it's at right now. It's at a 92, and this is scaled to 100. And then I was kind of like comparing it against stuff, like just kind of seeing how other trends are going. So here's what the trend looks like for this search term, sports card investor, over the last 5 years. And you can see that, it's at an all-time low. It's at a 7 on the scale. So that search term is dying a fast death. Whereas
Can I not call this?
The sports card collector search term is thriving right now.
I fucking called this.
And then here's a cool one. This is sports cards. This is the 5 year.
That's exactly what we just saw. You got the peak, a little bit of retraction, and now flat.
Yep, indeed.
This is like following our sales history graph.
Yeah. Yep. So you can have fun. I don't want to do a brainstorm session here halfway through hour 3 and try and figure out what terms to search on Google Trends, but I invite everybody to have fun with it. And if you find a cool trend, send it over. So, okay. Excuse me. Christina wanted this question to be asked. The question is, What's your favorite sports movie of all time?
So apparently this new Adam Sandler Hustle movie is really good.
Okay, if you haven't seen it yet, it can't be your favorite of all time, though.
No, because Adam Sandler was on Bill Simmons' podcast and they were talking about the best sports movies of all time because of this new movie. So it like sparked the conversation.
Yep. I'm just not a movie buff like that, but I've seen a lot of sports movies, you know. I mean, I've seen Remember the Titans, I've seen Blindside, I've seen Waterboy.
Surprised your answer isn't Rocky.
Ooh, yeah, Rocky.
You're welcome.
And not just Rocky, Rocky 4.
You're welcome.
Yep, that's a great answer. I love
Mine's Happy Gilmore.
That's a good one.
Yep, that's a great, yeah, not hard to go around. And yours?
I have 2.
Oh my God, she was gonna say 3.
I wasn't. I have 2.
All right.
The Mighty Ducks and
Oh,
Major League.
love Major League.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, Major League is good. Have you seen
Major League is really good.
But we've never watched Major League together. Nice try, though.
That's a really good one. All the stuff with Charlie Sheen is so good.
Yeah.
Little Big League is a good one.
Moneyball is getting some love in the chat. The Sandlot, yes.
Yeah, Sandlot.
Hoosiers.
Rocky.
Hoosiers.
I also like
Rocky is good.
what's that? The one where minor league or what? The one where the kid breaks his arm and then he becomes the
Rookie.
Yes, Rookie of the Year.
I've seen. What's that Kevin Costner, Field of Dreams? I saw that movie and I was so bored. I know people like that one. Blue Chips. I love Blue Chips. Penny Hardaway. Let's go.
Blue Chips, yep.
Space Jam.
There was another Hoop Dreams. Is that right? Is that a movie? Hoop Dreams?
Never seen it.
I don't know.
I think it is. He Got Game, yeah.
That's a popular one.
Yep.
What about Miracle? So, yeah, there you go. Wait, you don't have to be a hockey person to love Miracle. Yeah, Miracle was good. Air Bud. Oh, let's go.
Air Bud.
Which one? There are a few Air Buds.
The OG. Friday Night Lights is good. Friday Night Lights and Remember the Titans are really good football movies from high school football movies.
Any Given Sunday?
There's also like Rudy, which is a famous football movie.
Mm-hmm. I really like The Longest Yard from Adam Sandler. I like Adam Sandler. Like that. I was listening to that podcast with Bill Simmons, and I just really like Adam Sandler. His movies he obviously has some duds in the middle, but he's got some good movies. Have you seen Uncut Gems?
Oh, yeah. I love Uncut Gems.
We had this conversation.
Uncut Gems.
I can't.
Love that movie.
That was my one and only anxiety attack was during that movie.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah.
Let's watch Hustle this week.
Hustle, yeah. I'll check that out.
It's got Anthony Edwards in it, and it's got Juancho Herman Gomez. Who's in the NBA but struggling a bit to find his place.
Yeah, that's putting it politely.
He's in the NBA. Come on, man. It's hard to get in the NBA.
I guess so. Bad News Bears.
You guess so?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get in the NBA.
Yeah, it's the most elite professional career ever.
Angels in the Outfield.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was another one from our childhood.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Why did the 90s focus so much on sport, kids' sports movies, and now you don't get any?
Now, that's what Simmons and Sandler were talking about, where it's documentary remakes of stories about people, actual stories about real people.
Yeah, and Sandler's opinion on that, I think, was basically that they'd already done it all. They'd already gone through all the sports movie tropes, and it's just all been done.
Bring it on. Nixon, bring it on. Jerry Maguire. That's a good one.
Yeah. Yep. There are quite a few sports movies, aren't there?
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing quite like a sports movie, though, when it's properly done and it's an underdog story. And
I got one. Coach Carter.
Coach Carter? I never saw that. Did you? No.
High school basketball. It's good.
Varsity Blues.
There's Justin Timberlake has one, Josh, where like the pitching scout.
Moneyball?
No, I think it's called like the perfect. Is it called Moneyball?
Is he in Moneyball?
No, there's another one.
You're
Oh,
thinking of Jonah Hill.
No, I'm thinking of Justin Timberlake.
what's that
I'm
movie?
not gonna mistake Jonah Hill for Justin Timberlake.
What's that movie with Kevin Costner where he's an agent? Draft Day. Draft Day. That was good. I like Draft.
The Browns, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Does The Office count as a sports TV show because of that basketball game that's
The Trouble with the Curve?
I don't think so.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. We weren't talking or anything.
Well,
Trouble with the Curve. Never. Nick's got it. Never heard of it.
I've heard of it.
Oh, The Replacements. That's a good one.
that is a good one.
What's that other movie about the Eagles where the guy
Mark Wahlberg.
walks
Yeah.
in?
Oh, Invincible or
Yeah.
And then there's
That's a good one.
Then there's Invictus, the rugby movie
Mm,
with Matt Damon and Nelson Mandela. Not actually Nelson Mandela, but
I got one. Little Giants.
Oof.
that's a good one.
Big Green.
That's also a good one.
These were definitely like era-defining movies of
Yeah.
the 90s.
I love Little Giant.
Yep. Wow.
Football
All right.
is like 90% mental and 10% ability.
Oh, Cool Runnings. Cool Runnings. Bobsled movie.
Cool.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Yep. No doubt. All right.
Thank you.
Like Mike. White Man Can't Jump. Classic.
Yeah. Did we say Cool Runnings?
Yeah, that's what Nick said.
Oh, okay.
And I said it.
Josh literally just said that.
Let's chill the fuck out. I'm reading questions here. All right, 90s.
Feel the rhythm. Feel the ride. Get on up. It's bobsled time.
My favorite line from that movie is "Sanka, you dead man."
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Juana Man. Are we pushing the limit if we throw in Karate Kid?
Yeah. No. League of Their Own. That's a good one.
Oh,
The Fighter. Ooh, I love The Fighter.
dude, boxing movies, fighting movies, those are the best when they're done right.
I just really like Mark Wahlberg. I think his movies are really good. I like all those movies.
Yeah, he's good. All right, 90s b-ball card says, rumor has it that Jimmy Butler could be Michael Jordan's abandoned son. So, should
Otto Porter Jr.'s Wilt Chamberlain's son.
I know. I actually knew that. So should Jimmy Butler get that Michael Jordan collectability bump? Okay, so the only reason I'm reading that question is because a known Jimmy Butler collector surreptitiously liked it, but I clicked to see who liked it, and I saw that he liked it. And so, Paul, I'm reading that question for you, sir.
Is Otto Porter Jr. actually Wilt Chamberlain's son?
Oh my gosh. It's just really seems like he would be.
It just seems.
But no, we don't know for sure.
Well, then don't say he's definitely his son. Yeah, I saw that. I agree.
Has anyone
Funnier if you make it.
Has anyone ever told you that you're a little bit gullible?
No,
Oh, she's like, I can't believe you would say it definitively. I'm like, well, that's
the point.
plays into your gullibility.
That's sarcasm.
okay, fine. Josh,
Good old Christina.
Cards and Candy 901 says, on the back of these Panini cards, Sasha says, James Harden is my dad.
The beard game. Love it.
Chris Kaman is my older brother. All right.
Oh, that's the fact.
You ever think about what Chris Kaman looks like?
I try not to.
Well,
Gives me nightmares. Pick one of the worst ones if you could. Oh my lord. You know what we need to bring back? God damn. You know what we need to bring back?
what do we need to bring back?
the trash can stuff. That was our best content.
We didn't really milk that for all that we could get out of it, did we?
No, we kind of peaked, and we've gone downhill since then. We just like haven't found our stride since that whole thing.
Oh yeah, we'll never.
You were even like,
We'll never get back to that.
I feel like you even like, I think you even used it for like Drew Brees as an announcer. You were like, hey, here's Drew Brees announcing. It was just a pile of trash.
What do you mean? That's what kicked it all off.
That was the first one?
Yeah, we were talking about some announcers. Okay. Yeah, maybe it was that. I don't know.
But then we got some good content out of that. We should bring it back. All right, what else you got?
All right, so Cards and Candy 911 says, on the back of these Panini cards, does that little paragraph talking about the player? Oh my God, this is so like this. The sass is just in this question. So does that little paragraph talking about the player, does it have anything to do with the picture taken on the front of the card, or is it totally unrelated?
Unrelated.
Yeah. 99% of the time, that's just a totally made-up number. A lot of the time, it's unrelated. I can't think of many cards where the picture on the front, outside of like the Panini instance, I can't think of many cards where the paragraph on the back has much of a relationship, if any at all, to the picture on the front. Good? We still have a few good questions, quite a few here. Here's one that's worth going over again just briefly. The Cardfather 13 says, is buying a 2021 Prism Tom Brady base card on eBay for $35 a good investment? Parentheses, just kidding.
Thank God.
This happens every.
Did we talk about Prism Football and how you should be careful buying singles right now, because this happens every new release? Mm-hmm. This is our caution and advice for everybody. If you're buying singles on Prism Football right now, be careful, because that's going to go down.
Yeah, this guy made a great post on Twitter, and he tagged Card Ladder, and he showed Tua, Joe Burrow,
yep,
and who was the other one? Justin Herbert. And he showed their Prism Silver price charts over the last 2 years, and all of them have dropped off considerably from pricing at the beginning. And I mean, Justin Fields Prism base cards are selling for between $50 and $75 right now. Silvers are over $250, somewhere between $250 and $400. Why does this happen?
I have a good explanation.
I got the feeling that you might.
I mean, unless I just totally cut you off and you had this amazing thing you were ready.
No, I do not have a good answer.
I think a lot of it, honestly, is that people are thinking these are the freshest copies, and they'll grade them as PSA 10s. Like, this is your best shot to get PSA 10s because they're fresh out of the packs, and you don't have to worry about people having held them for a while, damaging them.
Nice. Okay. There's also something about the excitement of just getting one in, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Sounds about right to me, I guess.
Yeah, and I would double caution for this year, because everyone's been waiting for this product for so long that like people might jump because they haven't been able to have a Prism rookie of Fields or anyone else who's a rookie this past year.
Lawrence. Yeah, yep. Mac Jones. I think that the thing you definitely need to be for sure careful of is paying $1,500 and then opening it and assuming you're going to make money.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, dude, the pricing on these boxes is really strong.
But I'm excited because it helps me learn, and this is why I've been so pissed that it was so delayed, and basketball as well, because it helps me learn the rookies. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Like, that's why I couldn't remember that it was, I forgot that it was Lawrence and Mac Jones's rookie year, because it's been so long. We saw them play an entire season.
Yeah.
Mac Jones had a playoff game, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
think we're reaching the end of the road here. There's some really big questions here. Here, I'll just read this one because this was a thoughtful question and it dovetails with the previous question. Trading card.
Do you need me for this one? Can I take a break?
Oh, yeah, take a break.
2 seconds?
Go ahead, go for it. Trading Card Brothers says, when a big new product releases, such as 2021 Prism Football this week, do you think the majority of money being spent on opening that product is new money entering the hobby, or is it recycled money that's already been in the card game? I ask because sports cards has a unique advantage over other markets in this instance. So multiple times a year, there's a new big release, and people who don't always spend their extra money on sports cards will splurge on the hope of getting a life-altering hit, parentheses, as a 13-year-old had happened to him today. It seems like there will always be these influxes of new cash into the hobby multiple times per year, and this will help the sports card market continue to stabilize in years to come. So really clever point. There are people, certainly, like Christina and myself, who will come out of the woodworks and buy Prism boxes just because. We're definitely going to open a box or two of this year's Prism football hobby. It's just going to happen. And, it's a really smart point that you can always count on these infusions of money that otherwise wouldn't have been spent on the hobby, such as on singles, that are going to get spent on the particular experience of opening, the particular gamble of opening this box. So, cool point. I like it.
Yeah. I was going to say that.
Oh, go ahead, Josh.
I was going to say that I've heard a lot of people like you guys and people in Clubhouse who are like diehard collectors who just want to open some boxes. It's been a while.
Yep.
Yeah. Flagship product that is, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but semi-reasonably priced, even though it's $1,500.
I don't know about all that. It's the same price. Like, what's 2020? Like, 2020 has Herbert, it has Burrow, it has actually quarterbacks who have done stuff.
It's cheaper.
So those hobby boxes are $2,000. So.
But I mean, it's a new product. It's like something new that you haven't seen before.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I'd love to hit a Justin Fields or something like that.
Yeah, recoup 10% of your money.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
you can always count on me to be the wet blanket for wax.
To me, It's not about recouping my money. It's about the entertainment, and you guys might go on vacation, and people might go on vacation and stay at a hotel, and that's your hotel bill. And I'd rather just open a box one night.
Okay.
Yeah.
My bed's comfortable enough.
Yeah, I've been pretty Scrooge McDuck about prospecting and wax, but I've just I've been around long enough to get it. I understand why people like it.
Shout out fucking Scrooge McDuck reference.
I'll never be a big wax guy. I'll never be a prospector, but I get it. I know why people do it. I respect it. I'm going to get off your guys', off your cases.
That's fucking Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, well, Scrooge McDuck, I meant more being a pretentious dick, but he's more of a greedy fuck.
Yeah, that's just such a classic shot of Scrooge McDuck diving in.
See, Scrooge McDuck, the reference is that he's greedy. I meant more in terms of him being a douchebag.
Just being a grump.
Yes, thank you.
That's okay. That's okay, man. This hobby, this is...
Did you mean Ebenezer Scrooge instead?
I don't know what I mean. I just said it.
This hobby is... this hobby stands with open arms in welcoming. It's you're greeted at Ellis Island with the "Bring us, you're tired and you're hungry and you're..."
A poem?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I know where you're going with this.
The hobby's poem is, "Bring us your grumpy, your miserable, your haters, Bring them into the hobby. And you know what? God, I love it.
Jordan made a comment in the chat. And he was like, I love when you guys just go on your let the hate flow. That's when you guys are at your best. It's like this is what got us to this point. Why I turned back. Let's just keep it going.
Wife, we don't even have the effort to fake it.
It's exactly like I just am a miserable prick. This is what you get.
Dude, leaning into it is so much better. You know,
it's so much better. You know what you are.
I did spend, I think we all spend a portion of our lives trying to fight being a miserable prick from time to time. Why? Why not?
Dude, when the best, Chris, is when people in person ask me about NFTs and think that I'm going to be nice to them in person. It ain't happening. I just can't take it. I can't do it. I'm like, no, I hate it, and you're annoying me.
I've seen this firsthand.
Yeah.
I'm the simpleton who's like, oh, yeah, tell me more, please. And I just, glance at my watch. And Josh just he's like, do you know what I do for a living? You're going to tell me about fucking utility? You're going to teach me about the technology of the blockchain? No, you're not. I'm just like,
you do that.
This is a different path, but I like it.
You do this. You just did it to me, but you'll look at me while they're doing it to us, and you go, oh, tell me more. And I'm like, oh, you fucker. You just look right at me, and you're just like, whoa.
Dude,
it's like your little wink at me.
I looked into you guys having one of these conversations semi-recently in person, and I almost laughed when I caught on to the topic. I was just like, what is happening right now? This is literally Josh's worst nightmare.
Or his greatest dream.
Chris is right. It's becoming my greatest dream where I'm like, this is a really high entertainment value where I get to just be annoying at someone.
Oh, yeah. It's dude, it's quite a sight to behold. It's admirable. The easy path is the path of least resistance. That's the easy way out.
Well,
and I try to take the way out, and you don't. You take the real man's way out.
Because people think in person that oh, this dude's gonna be nicer. He'll nod his head and he'll play the public figure game and agree with me. No. You don't get off easy, sir.
Oh.
You're gonna get berated.
All right, that's great. That's just awesome.
YOLO.
All right, Card Shop Dad had a fun, very hour 3-ish question. You're starting a card-themed game show. Which game show would you base it on?
Price is Right.
Price is Right?
Price is Wrong, bitch.
Happy June.
Here's the thing with Christina, all right? If you give Christina the permission to go nasty, you give her an inch, she'll take 10 yards. And Christina's like a few breaths away from just taking over the show and just being like, fuck this person, fuck you.
Oh, I would love to name names.
See,
I have a list.
with Christina.
Because she's I like to think that I give Christina confidence to continue down her path of hatred, and I love it.
Oh, yeah.
You definitely do, Josh.
She's already dropping Price is Wrong, bitch. Here she goes.
Yeah, she's...
Step aside, Chris.
Christina's like, wait, I can do this? Hold the fuck.
Oh, that dude just said it. Let's go.
With the
hold on.
Portion, though, yeah.
What's that stupid game with all the suitcases?
Deal or No Deal.
Deal or No Deal. Boom.
That game does exist in Facebook rooms. Have you ever seen this game? This D&D?
Yeah.
Does it ever result in a deal?
No.
No, I don't think.
My favorite thing, one of my other favorite things to do to hate on is when someone on Facebook posts a card that's way over what it's worth, and I just post a card letter screenshot of the price. Oh, sorry, not sorry.
I've done that before too, Josh.
And she
Not
signed.
on Facebook.
She signed it. Fuck you. Here's my game show. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
This is like a bunch of dudes raising their hands.
And then like each round you have like 4 cards and you like have to pick one. And if that's the one that goes up, then you get to the next round. And then you have you can phone a friend. You can poll the audience.
I think it's funnier to just end it at Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and every card collector is like, I do. Who wants to be a millionaire? And you should just be like, well, we all are because we have cards. We're all millionaires.
It's like this is the audience.
Yeah, exactly. Sell me this pen.
There's one guy in the front row who's not holding his hand up.
I got it. That's
the
pessimist of the group.
That guy's the real collector.
That's South Park cards right there.
That's fucking good. Who is this? Who in the hobby is this guy?
South Park card. So you and I will have like this great rant, and he'll be like, well, actually, discretionary income is actually up, and that's the reason that, like, come on, dude. He said something, he was in the chat, like, we were talking about vintage baseball. He's like, yeah, because all the boomers have all the money.
Dude, but he's got a point. You know, it's tough to argue with the guy who's in college, you know. I mean, his brain is fired on all cylinders.
His firing cylinders. Oh, that was good.
All right. Let's end on that. Great question. Card Shop Dad gets the question asker MVP of the night.
Anything that gets me giggling is a winner.
Yeah, I agree. Good episode. All right. Well, almost 3 hours of content for you guys out there. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week.
A lot has changed since Card Ladder began. We started with 500 cards in our database, and now we have over 3 million cards and over 30 million sales.
For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up.
With Card Ladder's sales history feature, we have virtually every card in our system. If the card you are looking for ever sold on one of these platforms, you can find it using Card Ladder's sales history, and you can add a card to your collection with just one click.
My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
Plus, every card, no matter the last time it sold, has an estimated value that we calculated using our state-of-the-art player indexes. Unlike other apps, when you see Card Ladder's verified checkmark, that means a researcher personally vetted each and every sale.
We know what it takes to be reaching the top.
We know what you want, because Card Ladder was created by collectors for collectors.
Know what it takes to be reaching the top.
Join the innovators, not the imitators. Card Ladder 2.0, constantly innovating. Try it for free. See why Card Ladder is the industry leader in sports card data.
We know what it takes to be reaching the top.
Card Ladder 2.0.